Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 70 of 71 in this 2017 USPBL regular season. My name is Rich Borland. With just 2 regular season games remaining, today and Thursday, the playoff picture is officially set. The Westside Woolly Mammoths have been locked in as the 4 seed for just over a week now, and the Unicorns, losing yesterday to the Diamond Hoppers, have themselves set up to play in Game 1 of the playoffs versus those Mammoths on Friday here at Jimmy John's Field. The Diamond Hoppers on Saturday will then face the winner of Game 1. Following that, when that's all said and done, the Beavers will host the final remaining team in the championship on Sunday, just 6 short days away. Before we get into the pitching matchups and the lineups, I'd like to take a quick second to dedicate the broadcast to Jamie Keller, a really good friend of my little brother who unfortunately had killed himself a couple days ago. But Jamie, I hope you're not battling whatever you were anymore. And with that being all said and done, let's get back to baseball and have your starting lineups going here, starting with the away team, the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Leading off, playing right field, number 26 out of St. Mary's College of California, Don Andre Clark. Batting second, playing center field, number 20 out of Morehead State, Brandon Raw. Batting third, playing second base out of Columbia University, number 8, Rob Poller. Batting cleanup, playing third base, number 18 out of Altoona, Pennsylvania, Christian Helsel. Batting fifth, at shortstop out of New Mexico State University, number 10, Dan Kennan. Batting sixth, in left field, from Pearland, Texas, number 3, Nick Buckner. Batting seventh, at first base today, out of Phoenix, Arizona, number 11, Gerard Hernandez. Batting eighth, making his USPBL debut right here from Macomb, Michigan, playing catcher today, number 25. He's been in the bullpen all season long and getting his USPBL debut today, number 25, Brett Elmer. And rounding out this Beaver lineup as the designated hitter today, number 13, that is Thomas Rulis. Being as a part of the battery with Brett Elmer, the starting pitcher today for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers is Jake Welch. Jake Welch, number 15, out of Notre Dame, making his 7th overall game played here against the versus the Utica Unicorns this season, and his 3rd overall start. In those 6 games against the Unicorns, he's got a 1-2 record with 12.2 innings pitched, 8 earned runs given up on 13 hits. He has given up 10 walks while recording 13 strikeouts. Meanwhile, on the other side, for the home team, the Unicorns, leading off, playing shortstop, out of Cal State Northridge, number 15, Brett Balkin. Batting second, playing second, from Farley Dickinson University, number 9, Dylan Sprague. Batting third, playing first base today, out of Long Beach, California, number 22, Tanner Levine. Batting fourth, playing center, out of Indiana State University, number 8, Tony Rosselli. Batting fifth, playing right field out of Cornell, number 4, Chris Cruz. Batting third, number 10, that's Bobby Webb. At the DH slot today, number 24, Nico Lolio. Batting eighth and behind the dish today out of Carson Newman University, that's number 5, Greg Jones. And rounding out this Unicorn lineup, the left fielder, number 2, out of Ohio University, Spencer Ibarra. Let's get you down to the field for God Bless America and the United States National Anthem. When we come back, first pitch coming up here from Jimmy John's Field in Game 70 of 71.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Remove your hats. Veteran and active military may keep your caps on while rendering the hand salute. As we honor America and our military with the singing of our national anthem, performed today by Diana Guglielmetti.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
Spectacular job. Let's give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. God Bless America and the U.S. National Anthem right then and there. I just got cut off short before I was about to introduce the starting pitcher for the Utica Unicorns here today. And for that is Gio Abreu. Abreu on the season, making his 5th overall opportunity with the Unicorns. He is making his 4th start on the season. In the 8.1 innings pitched, he's got an 0-0 record. He's got 6 strikeouts, 8 walks, and 9 hits given up. This is, like I mentioned, his 5th total appearance this season thus far. He's faced the Beavers already 3 times. 1.1 innings one time and 2 innings in the other 2 outings. The other time he was on the mound this season was against the Diamond Hoppers way back on August the 9th, where he got 3 innings of work, gave up 2 earned runs in those 3 innings, 4 walks and a strikeout. Not a lot of numbers for Gio Gonzalez, the man out of New York, New York. But as the U.S. flag gets taken out of the field of play out there in the left center fence, let's quickly give you the defense that will be lined up behind Jake Welch with this Birmingham Bloomfield squad. From left to right in the outfield out of Pearland, Texas, number 3, Nick Buckner. In center field out of Morehead State, number 20, Brandon Raw. In right field out of St. Mary's College of California, number 26, that is Don Andre Clark. Left to right on the infield, Christian Helsel out of Altoona, Pennsylvania. Dan Kennan at short out of New Mexico State. Rob Poller out of Columbia, he's at second. Gerard Hernandez at first out of Phoenix, Arizona. Jake Welch on the mound, and like I mentioned, Brett Elmer making the debut out of Macomb, Michigan. And then the Unicorns defense, as they are getting loose and ready to go, as they are the home team here on this beautiful Labor Day here at Jimmy John's Field on this gorgeous Monday afternoon. From left to right in the outfield right now as we speak, Spencer Ibarra from Ohio University, the MAC champion, out there as we speak. In center field out of Indiana State University, number 8, Tony Rosselli. In right field from Cornell University, number 4, Chris Cruz. From left to right in the infield, number 10 at third base, that's Bobby Webb. At shortstop, Brett the Stash Belkin, number 15. At second base, number 9, out of Farley Dickinson, Dylan Sprague. And over at first base, out of Long Beach, California, number 22, Tanner Levine. The catcher behind the home plate today being the battery partner with Gio Abreu out of Carson Newman University, that is Greg Jones. The lineup that Mr. Abreu will face off quickly once again if you're just joining us here. Once again, my name is Rich Borland on the broadcast. We got game 70 here between the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and the Utica Unicorns. Beavers coming into this one at 28-23, have the number 1 seed locked up in this playoff picture. They won't play after today until Sunday of this week. Going to have a long, long break in between these games. You'll see on Sunday if that has any effect on them. The Unicorns, meanwhile, knowing their place after losing yesterday to the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, they sit at 25-26 on the year, 6-4 in their last 10, but have lost the last 2 games. The lineup real quick for those Beavers: Don Andre Clark leading off, Brandon Raw batting second, Robert Poller third, due up here in this first inning against Gio Abreu, who supports a 4.32 ERA through 4 total games here with the Unicorns. Making his 4th start in 5 appearances, though, is the right-hander out of New York, New York. His longest outing of the season back on August the 9th when the Diamond Hoppers ended up winning 19-4 in that one. He pitched 3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, 2 hits, 4 walks, 1 strikeout on the 14 batters he faced. But since then, he has only faced off against this Beaver team 3 outings, 2 of them being starts. One of the games he went 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 strikeouts against the 7 batters he faced. But he's ready to go with pitch number 1 here against Don Andre Clark, who shows bunt and pulls back. First pitch is at 1:35 p.m., and it is a beautiful 78 degrees here in Utica, Michigan. Not sure if rain will be a part of this ball game today. Initially, was seeing something happening around 3 or 4 o'clock, but looks as if it's been pushed back to about 5 or 6. Looking like 60% chance at 5 and then 100% chance at 6. So we will see if we can get this ball game in. Yesterday was quite the long one. We were nearly pushing 4 hours in that game between the Hoppers and the Unicorns. On this 1-1 pitch, Don Andre Clark hits a nice roper down the right field line, but doing an even better job right there. Tanner Levine reaching out to his left, making the diving stop with the glove and covering the bag all on his own. That's a nice job defensively there from the man out of Long Beach, California for out number 1 in this one. Beavers and Unicorns going at it. Beavers have locked in the 1 seed in this playoff picture as they play in their last game in this regular season. As for the Utica Unicorns, this is also their last regular season game, as tomorrow the Woolly Mammoths and Diamond Hoppers will play at 7, or excuse me, not tomorrow, but next Thursday on September the 7th, the start of the 2017 USPBL playoffs. Brandon Raw, meanwhile, looking at ball 2. He's quickly looked at 2 straight. Start this one off. On the 2-0 pitch, he lost one high into center field. Underneath it, coming up to make the catch is the center fielder, Brandon Raw, for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down. Clark and Raw retired here early on against Gio Abreu. Now making his way up to the batter's box is Rob Pauler. Pauler out of Columbia University. Making his way up to the left side of the batter's box here. Pauler on the season making his 29th appearance in a Birmingham Bloomfield uniform. A .341 average on the season. 28 hits and 82 at-bats as he looks at ball 1 inside here. Seems to be the trend thus far for Mr. Abreu. When he's missing inside. Not the worst thing. You definitely don't want to miss over the plate. He throws one down the heart of the plate, though, right then and there. Swinging right through it was Robert Pauler. 1-1 is the count. Pauler on the season, like I mentioned, 28 of 82 coming into play today. He's came in to score 17 times while driving in 21 with his bat. He swings right through the third pitch of this battle. And down in the count, he is 1-2. On the 1-2, line drive, going down that left field area, but out of play. Just another strike here. Count remains 1-2 on Pauler, the second baseman. So a little bit different of an approach, seeing the opportunity for Brett Elmer, the catcher today, was normally the bullpen guy all season long, as Pauler takes ball 2 right there, evens it up at 2-2. Outside of that, though, most of the starters for this Birmingham team in play today was going to see if, since this game technically doesn't mean anything for this Birmingham squad, they could possibly start some guys on the bench, but knowing that they won't play another game until Sunday, 6 days away from now, understandable that they got some of their guys in here to stay fresh for as long as they possibly can. Palmer, even in the count at 2-2 here. Gio Abreu, the man out of New York, with the windup, the pitch, swung on, hit opposite field into left center. This one's going to get down. Trouble for both Raw and Buckner out there. It's extra bases for the man out of Columbia, Robert Pauler, with a stand-up double.
Next up for the Beavers, the third baseman, number 18, Christian Hell.
So a 2-out extra base hit there for Robert Pauler, has the Beavers in motion here in this top of the first. I was walking into the ballpark with my dad, who's currently sitting next to me here in the broadcast booth. We noticed that the wind was blowing out fairly strong, and that's continuing here. It's been going back and forth from left to right, but it is definitely going out. Hoping I'm going to get a couple of home run calls here this afternoon. Christian Helsel standing in now from the right side. He's got 2 homers on the season, batting just under 300 at 298. Looks at ball 1 to start this one off. Got an open base over there at first for Gio Abreu and the Unicorns, but got to imagine he's going to want to attack early and often here. Dan Kennan looming on deck, and he might get an opportunity as well. This one taken to right center. Brandon Raw picks it up with ease, but in to score. Robert Pauler coming in for the first run of the ball game. RBI single for Christian Helsel. Beavers take the 1-0 lead.
Next up for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, the shortstop, number 10, Dan DK Chops Kennan.
So back-to-back base hits after the first 2 men were retired for the Beavers. 1-0 lead here over the Unicorns. Dan Kennan coming up to the plate, the shortstop. High fly ball on the first pitch. Swinging here is Kennan. It's lifted shallow on the right side of the infield. Calling off the second baseman. That was that was Dylan Sprague. Thomas Levine comes up with the catch. Two hits in the inning for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. An RBI single off the bat. Christian Helsel gives the Beavers a 1-0 lead. We head to the home half of the first. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here, bottom of the first inning, Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers up 1-0 on an RBI single off the bat of Christian Helsel that drove in Rob Poller after he hit a double with 2 outs. Brett Balkin, the stash, here out of California, batting from the right side. He looks at called strike 1 to begin this at bat, and then looks at ball 1 that evens up the count at 1-1. Brett Balkin on the season coming into play today. Good for third on the team in batting average. It's at .304 through 46 games. He looks at ball 2 on the outside corner. Balkin in this 2017 season, he's got 49 hits and 161 at-bats coming into play today. He's came in to score 33 times using every ounce of his speed. 17 RBIs to his credit. 13 hit by pitches, 15 strikeouts. But the big story for Mr. Balkin as he swings and misses at pitch number 4 of this at-bat, count even at 2-2. Balkin's story, 12 stolen bases in 13 attempts on the year coming into play today. Welch with the windup, the pitch, a slider that falls out of the strike zone. Balkin not chasing after it. Count ringing full on the left-hander. Balkin, no home runs on the season. It's his job as a leadoff man to get on base and let the men behind him drive him in. If he gets an extra base hit, you would imagine he would score on just a single. The 3-2 pitch, missing inside. Balkin almost chasing after it, but he held off at the last second. Welch begins this one off with a full count walk. So Dylan Sprague coming up to the plate now. Sprague, a left-hander out of Troy, New York. On the season, Dylan Sprague batting .264 through 24 games with the Unicorns. On the year, 19 hits and 72 at-bats. He's came in to score 12 times while driving in 14 of his own. Looks at a called strike one right down the heart of the plate to begin this at-bat. Beavers, if you're just joining us, have the 1-0 lead. They got an RBI single off the bat of Christian Helsel back in the top of the first inning off of Gio Abreu. Jake Welch, meanwhile, out here for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, making start number 12 of this 2017 summer. Overall, his 13th start. He only had one in last summer, 16 overall appearances, but mainly half and half. He split this year, a little bit in the bullpen and a little bit in the starting position. The 1-1 pitch is hit to the right side of the infield. Gerard Hernandez diving to his right, unable to make the ball or make the play, but a ground ball falling to the second baseman. That's Rob Poller. Heads up play right there from the second baseman. He gets that baseball, and an even better job from Jake Welch. Goes over to cover first base in the absence of Hernandez. Runner gets over to second base is Balkin, but Sprague gets retired at first base for out number one. So a 3-4-1 put out over there at first base. Moves Balkin into scoring position. Tanner Levine now coming up to the plate. Left-hander looking at ball one outside. First baseman out of Long Beach, California on the season. Tanner Levine batting below 200, 195 to be exact, through 12 games with the Unicorns. He's got 8 hits and 41 at-bats. He's came in to score 5 times while driving in 4 of his own. 15 strikeouts on the season. Not the greatest of numbers for Tanner Levine, but an opportunity here to drive in first run of the ball game for the Unicorns and possibly tie this game up. Welch from the right side gives a short look over to Balkin at second. Levine lifts one out into shallow right center field. Over making the catch, Gerard Hernandez, the first baseman. Excuse me, it wasn't in right center. It was about right shallow field near that foul area. And Gerard Hernandez in fair territory coming up with the catch. Nifty one at that. He was running towards his backside and almost fell down, but ends up making the out for out number 2 here. Balkin having to stay at second base as he was playing halfway, trying to read and see if that ball was going to fall. So now Tony Rosselli, center fielder for the Unicorns out of Indiana State University, stands in here from the right side. Welch with the quick set pitch, and the ball getting away from the catcher. Let's see if it's a good throw over there to third base. Balkin just sliding in, but a really good throw from Brett Elmer. First opportunity that he had to try and throw out a runner. And in all honesty, ladies and gentlemen, that was a whole lot closer of a play than I thought it was going to be. The ball got away from Elmer to his right side to begin that pitch, and then he threw it right over to third base as Balkin tried to take the bag, but just in the nick of time, Balkin got in there. He gets 90 feet closer into scoring. Now standing at third base. Rosselli ahead in the count here, 1-0. Pitch number 2 of the at-bat, missing inside. He's worked a good hitter's count here. Rosselli on the season. Let's give you his numbers real quick. Rosselli through 25 games with the Unicorns, batting just 195. Swing and a miss right there on that pitch. Rosselli through 94 at-bats has 18 hits. 19 runs he has came in to score while driving in 17. He's got a really good opportunity here after swinging and missing at the third pitch of the at-bat. He's still ahead, though, 2-1. Infield, outfield for the most part at regular depth. The 2-1 pitch, a slider out of the hand of Jake Welch. He likes to go with that, as I was having a pregame interview with the man who's making the debut today, Brett Elmer, behind home plate. He was saying that Welch loves to go to that slider, and he did right there. Count now even at 2-2. Let's see if he goes back to it. The 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. That slider once again. Elmer holds onto it as it went in the dirt, but the swing and the miss from Tony Rosselli, good enough for out number 3. That is Jake Welch's first K of the day. Unicorns strand a runner on third in the bottom of the first inning. we head to the top of the second as the Beavers take the 1-0 lead. You're listening into the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second we go here. Nick Buckner leading the way for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. From the left side, Buckner on the season batting .224. Held off on the first pitch he saw, but swings right through pitch number 2. He has quickly found himself in an 0-2 hole here against Gio Abreu. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball high and outside. Buckner chasing after it, getting a piece of it though, and fouling it off out of play. Buckner with 33 hits on the season and 147 at-bats. He looks at ball 1 right there. Buckner playing in his 41st game with this Birmingham team. He's got 8 RBIs on the year while he's came in to score 20 times. Really good piece of hitting right there on a 1-2 pitch, doing exactly what you're supposed to do. He takes that one the other way. We've seen some really good opposite field hitting thus far through both teams. All 3 hits for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers have been taken the other way. We saw Poller and Helsel with back-to-back knocks in the first inning to give the Beavers that 1-0 lead. And Buckner right there doing the same thing his teammates were. Beavers really seeing the ball well here. And the biggest question is, will they be able to continue how well they've played as of late? They've won their last 2 games, 6 of their last 10. But I'm worried about that long break, as after today they will not play until the championship on Sunday, the 10th of September, 6 days away. You just know, if you've played baseball before, or honestly any sport, and honestly anything you do, repetition is key, and if you take time off, even if you're practicing in the cages, you won't see live pitching for quite some time, and we'll see if that hinders or helps the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Hernandez, the batter, standing in, looks at ball 1 to begin the at-bat, and then chases after the next one. The count even at 1-1. Buckner on this season, no stolen bases. He has been caught once. Big fellow over there at first base. Not trying to take too many bags out there. Hernandez, meanwhile, on the 1-1 pitch, looking at ball 2. Abreu set from the right side, throws the pitch. It's lifted high into right field. If the wind takes it, it could go. At the wall is Chris Cruz, and he's not going to be able to catch it. Gerard Hernandez, with his 3rd home run of the season, gives the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers a 3-0 lead, and I think the wind might have helped them a little bit on that one. Talked about it in the pregame show and a little bit during this broadcast about how the wind has been blowing out all day long, and Gerard Hernandez with a big fly. Has a little bit of help from Mother Nature to take that one out of the yard. 3-0 Beavers here in the top of the second. He clears the bases. So one good story to an X. Gerard Hernandez with that 2 RBI home run, giving way here to Brett Elmer, the man batting from the left side for this Birmingham team in his USPBL debut. 91 on the gun from Gio Abreu, high and inside. Elmer swinging through it. No contact made. You can tell he was a little behind on that one, trying to get used to this live pitching. A nasty curveball. Elmer swinging halfway through. He got beat on that one. So Abreu has thrown both pitches to him, one of the off-speed variety and one of the fastball variety. A ground ball hit to the right side. Elmer getting on first base in his first at-bat. We'll see if they mark that one down as a base hit or an error, but either way, that's got to feel good to get the kinks out of the way. Elmer reaching base safely right there. Back-to-back-to-back men have reached base here for the Beavers in this top of the second. See what they put that one down as. Might get a friendly base knock with the debut happening right there, and would you look at that? In fact, a base hit for Mr. Elmer. Good for him. Get that baseball back into the dugout for him right there. Coming up to the plate now, Thomas Rulis, the designated hitter for this Birmingham team out of New Hyde Park, New York, just about 15 minutes outside of Long Island. Rulis has been batting well all season long as he looks at called strike on the inside part of the plate right there. He's been batting in the 9-hole, but he's been acting as sort of that lead or that double leadoff guy through 49 games this season. He's batting .347 in that 9 spot this year. The 1-0 pitch, excuse me, I thought it was 1-1 or 1-0-1, excuse me. But the 1-0 pitch getting called a strike right there, evens it up at 1-1 now. On the season, Rulis through the first 49 games, he's got 60 hits and 173 at-bats. He's came in to score 43 times. Here's a soft roller over to the right side of the infield where Tanner Levine picks it up. He throws the ball over to second to get the force out. Retires Elmer, but the ball trying to get back over to first base. Could not get Rulis as he gets over to first base, reaching on the fielder's choice. 1 out here as Rulis awaits the back to the top of the order. Don Andre Clark coming up. So the 3-6 put out, records out number 1, takes Elmer out of the situation. Don Andre Clark batting now for the second time in as many innings. He grounded out over to the first baseman, Tanner Levine, to begin this ball game. On this pitch, Clark trying to take that ball the opposite way. Sits on one, but takes it too far foul down that left field line. It gets out of play. Don Andre Clark on the season coming into play today, batting .294 through 51 games. He's got 59 hits in now 202 at-bats. 24 runs scored on the year. He's driven in 17 of his own. He's taken the ball to the opposite field once again. A double play possibility, but too much speed out of the box there for Clark. He hit a ground ball hard over to the left side. Bobby Webb relayed it to Dylan Sprague at second to retire Thomas Rulis, but back-to-back fielders' choices here for the Beavers keep them alive in this one. Two outs on the board now. The 8-9 hitters getting on base, but getting retired at second right after that. Brandon Raw now stands in for the Beavers. Flew out to Tony Rosselli back in the first inning. Runner on first is Don Andre Clark as Brandon Raw looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Keep in mind over there at first base, 15 stolen bases on the year for Mr. Clark. He's been caught 7 times, so he likes to run no matter if he's getting caught or if he's making it there. He's not going on this 1-0. That pitch swung right through. Brandon Raw not getting contact on that one. Count even at 1-1. Both of these teams in their Digi-Camo military appreciation jerseys, and I wish you could see it from home. They are pretty darn sweet. Unicorns in their what looks to be black and purple and white camouflage jerseys, and then the Beavers in sort of a beige and brown jersey. I can see the numbers on the backside. They're white, outlined in red. Pretty darn cool stuff. Looks to be dry fit from up here. The 1-1 pitch to Brandon Raw, getting called a strike on the outside part of the plate by the home plate umpire, Gary Wagenschutz. Raw ready for the 1-2 pitch. Gio Abreu coming set, delivering. No stolen base there for Don Andre Clark. Brandon Raw looking at a ball in the dirt. 77 miles an hour out of the hand of Abreu. He tried to force Raw to chase after one for the third and final out, but the count even now. Wind blowing severely from right to left. Brandon Raw, if he gets one up into the high winds there in left field, he could take 1 yard, but instead looks at ball 3 to bring the count full here with 2 outs. Don Andre Clark will be going on first movement from the right-hander, Gio Abreu. Clark going to second. The payoff pitch, missing outside. Another slider over on the outside part of the plate. Gets out of there at 75 miles an hour. And a 2-out walk for Brandon Raw. Brings runners to first and second here for the Beavers with 2 outs. Rob Pollard now stands in. Started off the rally for the Beavers in the first inning with a big fly over to left center field. That was good enough for a stand-up double. He stands in here now. Looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Trying to drive in Don Andre Clark at second, and then maybe Brandon Raw at first if he can put one up in the winds. But the 1-0 pitch, looked at right there from Pollard, evens the count up at 1-1. Pollard coming into play today, a .341 average through 28 games for the Beavers. 28 hits and 82 at-bats. 17 runs scored to 21 driven in. This 1-1 pitch lofted high and shallow into that left center area. Brett the Stash Balkin calling off both the left and center fielders. He had a beat on that one the whole way through for out number 3. Beavers get 2 runs, though, on 3 hits in that top of the second. We head to the home half. They lead it 3-0 over the Unicorns. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Jimmy John's Field. We head to the home half of the second inning. Gio Abreu in that top half allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, had 26 pitches in that half of an inning. Beavers taking it to him there. We'll see if Jake Welch, the pitcher here for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers out of Notre Dame, can get the job done. He starts off Chris Cruz on the outside corner with ball one. Chris Cruz, Bobby Webb, and Nico Lolio due up here for the Utica Unicorns in this bottom of the second inning. They trail it 3-0. Cruz looking at ball two. Worked the 2-0 count here thus far. Trying to get the first hit of the game, though, for the Unicorns is Cruz, standing in from the left side. He takes a big cut, but gets nothing but his lower leg as he fouls that one off. Count goes to 2-1. Chris Cruz on the season, not the greatest of offensive numbers, batting 194 through 45 games. He's got 31 hits and 160 at-bats. He's came in to score 29 times, which is actually good enough for second on the team behind Mr. Brett the Stash Balkin. So he does come in to score quite often. Cruz on that 2-1 pitch, swings and misses at one, evens the count up at 2-2, but part of the reason he scores so much, he's got a really keen eye at the plate. 30 walks on the season in those games. Part of the reason right there he's gotten on so much. That 2-2 pitch, a fastball on the outside corner, looked real good from up here, but just missing there. Chris Cruz with a great eye at the plate and an even better approach. The 3-2 pitch from Jake Welch, fastball outside corner, that one just enough to ring up Mr. Cruz, and he goes down via the backwards K. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Mr. Welch, and in fact, back-to-back Ks as he struck out Tony Rosselli, swinging to end that top of the first, or bottom of the first. One up, one down in this home half of the second. Bobby Webb, the third baseman, now coming up to the plate. First at-bat of the afternoon for the right-hander out of Long Beach, California. Couple of guys out of Long Beach on this Unicorn team. The corner infielders, both Tanner Levine and Bobby Webb. Webb on the first pitch he sees, looks at ball one as he tries to get out of the way of that one. The 1-0 pitch getting fouled off into the netting. The count even at 1-1 now. Bobby Webb on the season. Give you his numbers real quick. A .281 average in just 9 games with this Utica team. He's got 32 at-bats, 9 hits in those 32 at-bats. 6 runs he's came in to score while driving in 6 of his own. Trying to give the Unicorns some type of life here in this home half of the second inning. 1-1 pitch, nubbed off the end of that bat. Bobby Webb swinging a little early on that one. 84-mile-an-hour pitch from Jake Welch. Too much on that outside corner. Count dropping to 1-2. Welch, the windup, the 1-2 pitch, slider at 78 miles an hour, too far outside. To be brutally honest, I probably wouldn't have even swung at that, as bad as I was as a hitter growing up. Pitched in college at JUCO for 2 years at Macomb Community College here in the area, but transitioned the love of baseball into this great career of broadcasting. Webb on the 2-2 pitch, looks at a ball inside. Once again, he has worked the count completely full. Bases empty here, full count offer about to ensue against Bobby Webb. 2 home runs on the season. Wind continues to blow out, now going towards dead center as we speak. The 3-2 pitch, slider inside corner, just getting enough of that inside part of the plate. Bobby Webb gets that front door entered, and he necessarily didn't like it, but either way, Jake Welch was coming in. Second out of the inning. Back-to-back Ks via the look for Mr. Jake Welch out of Notre Dame. Looking really sharp here. He struck out the last 3. Nico Lolio now stands in, trying to be the only Unicorn in this inning to not strike out looking. He looks at ball one to begin this at-bat. He looks at another one quickly. Quickly ahead in this count, 2-0 is Lolio. Lolio out of Brownstown, Michigan. Sort of a small school guy, played in a couple of D2 programs and has transitioned that into the USPBL here where he's got 6 home runs. Swings and fouls off the 88-mile-an-hour fastball out of the right hand of Welch. I was talking to Lolio in the pregame interviews. I was mentioning about that wind that was blowing out. He's getting the opportunity to bat here in this game today as the DH. He's got 6 home runs on the year in 47 games. With a good opportunity here if he connects on a nice fast pitch from Welch. Ball hit to the right side, just getting out of the field of play. Gerard Hernandez over there at first base, picking up the loose foul ball. Lolio even in the count here at 2-2. The 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. A slider inside on the hands of Lolio. It's too much for him. Jake Welch striking out the side right there, and he has struck out his last 4 batters he has seen. Head to the 3rd inning. Beavers up 3-0 over the Unicorns in Game 70 of 71. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We head to this top of the 3rd inning. Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers with a nice 3-run cushion as we head into this 3rd frame. Christian Helsel, Dan Kennan, and Nick Buckner due up for the Birmingham Bloomfield squad in this one. The man out of Altoona, Pennsylvania, Christian Helsel, begins his 2nd at-bat of the afternoon, looking at a called strike on the inside part of the plate. Helsel in his first plate appearance drove in a run with an RBI single. He takes one deep into left field, but underneath it to make the catch, the man out of Ohio University, the MAC champion, that was Spencer Ibarra. Good enough for out number 1 here in this top of the 3rd. So Helsel gets retired for the first time today. He's now 1 of 2 with that flyout. Dan Kennan, the shortstop for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, coming up to the plate for the 2nd time today. He popped out over to Dylan Sprague back in the 1st inning. That ended it. He looks at a breaking ball right over the heart of the plate for called strike number 1 out of the hand of Gio Abreu. Kennan at shortstop this afternoon, has played a little bit of third base. Fouls off the next pitch he sees. He's down in the count now 0-2. But I'll be honest, when I called games last year working here at the USPBL, Kennan never played at shortstop. He was mainly the everyday third baseman for this Birmingham team, but he can certainly play both positions on that left side of the infield very well. The 0-2 pitch, he lofts over to the right side in foul territory. Almost having trouble with it was Tanner Levine, but he uses that big frame of his for the catch. He was falling back a little bit, but all that matters is that you make the catch. Doesn't matter how ugly it is. Kennan gets retired for out number 2 with that pop-up. 2 up, 2 down in this top of the 3rd inning. Nick Buckner, who led off the 2nd with a single, got driven in on that 2-run homer from Gerard Hernandez, who now stands in on deck. Buckner looking at the first pitch he sees out of the hand of Gio Abreu for a ball on the outside half. On the season, Buckner batting .224 through 40 games with this Birmingham team. He's got a big frame, but a big guy that can play the outfield. He's got a really strong arm. Looks at that 87-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside half for called strike one, even at 1-1. He takes this outside pitch the right way down the left field line. He looks like he might be going for two, but slows up about a third of the way over there to the bag. Nice route there from Ibarra to get the ball in quickly. A two-out single for Buckner. He continues his great day. Back-to-back singles for him. He continues to see the pitching very well. 2 outs, a runner on base. Gerard Hernandez, who had that 2-run home run just last inning in this same exact situation, with an opportunity now to put the Beavers up 5-0 if he can do it again. Hernandez, the first pitch offer, fouling it off into the protective netting here in front of the grandstands behind home plate. Fun fact here at Jimmy John's Field, if you're sitting in the diamond tables beneath the grandstands here, directly behind home plate, you technically have the closest seat to home plate in all of professional baseball, just 15 feet away. No ballpark shorter than that. Sometimes that gives base runners some issues with the ricocheting off that brick wall. Catchers sometimes with opportunities to bounce back, literally and figuratively, against base runners. Hernandez looks at called strike one. It's even at 1-1. The 1-1 pitch, backdoor slider called for a strike at 75 miles an hour, brings the count to 1-2 on Hernandez, the man out of Phoenix, Arizona. A nice day out here in Utica, Michigan. Not as hot as it is out there in Phoenix, but definitely a calm, brisk day here as we look on to this 4th of September. Hernandez not winning the battle against Abreu in this one. Abreu with his first strikeout of the afternoon, good enough for out number 3 in this top of the 3rd inning. We head to the home half. Unicorns coming up to the plate, looking for their first hit of the day. They'll have Greg Jones, Spencer Ibarra, and the top of the order coming up to bat. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We head to this home half of the 3rd inning. Jake Welch, the starter for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, day officially over. Just getting a couple of innings of work before the championship game on this upcoming Sunday. Want to make sure Welch is fresh just in case he needs to either start or pitch in that championship game. He goes 33 pitches through 2 frames, faced 7 batters, had 1 walk, but struck out the final 4 batters that he had faced on 33 pitches total. 18 of them for strikes in those 2 innings. He gives way to Brandon Mattern here in this bottom of the 3rd inning on the season for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Mattern, a 2-1 record through 7 relief appearances. He's got a 2.16 ERA in 8.1 innings pitched. Has a save to his credit, and in those 8.1 innings, he's retired 6 batters via the strikeout while giving up 5 walks and 4 hits on the season, making his 4th overall appearance in relief against the Unicorns here today. Faces off against Greg Jones to begin this outing for him. The first pitch, a fastball on the inside part of the plate. Jones swinging through. Down in the count, he is 0-1. Greg Jones in his first plate appearance here today looks at the 78-mile-an-hour slider that misses outside for ball number 1. Greg Jones batting about .256 through 27 games here. 22 hits and 86 at-bats as he looks at called ball 2, a fastball on the outside half at 88 miles an hour. Jones, the catcher for this Utica team, actually got collided into yesterday at home plate by a base runner of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Can't initially remember which one it was, and in fact it was Esteban Gomez back in that first initial inning that the Hoppers had put up 5 runs in and solidified themselves as the number 2 seed in this playoff picture as we look onto that this upcoming weekend. But on this Labor Day, Jones on the 2-1 pitch, fouls one off out of play to the right side of field near that Birmingham dugout. The 2-2 pitch from Mattern fouled off and over my head here in the press box. Staying alive in this one is Greg Jones. Jones on the season, 14 RBIs on those 22 hits. He's came in to score 11 times. But on that 2-2 offer, Jones swinging through one. He goes down for another strikeout. That is the 5th consecutive K offensively for the Unicorns. They are starting to struggle here against Birmingham Bloomfield pitching. Ibarra, the next batter for the Utica Unicorns, batting in the 9-hole today, looking at ball 1 on the outer half. Ibarra, hometown product out of Clinton Township, Michigan, looking at called strike 1 to continue this at bat. Even in the count 1-1 he is. Ibarra, a Mid-American Conference champion in 2017 with the Ohio Bobcats. A good swing here, taking it to the opposite field and falling into that left center gap. A stand-up single right there. He was thinking about going for 2. Ibarra, though, with the 1-out knock over there into left center field. Good enough for the first hit of the ballgame for the Unicorns. They finally have possibly broken up that hitless seal. Brett the Stash Belkin now standing in for the second time today. Reached on a full count walk in that first inning, but an opportunity here for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers to 4, to 6, to 3, out at first base. A double play recorded there by the Beavers. Gets out of this 3rd inning. We head to the 4th. They take the 3-0 lead into the inning. Nice job right there from Pauler, Kennan, and Hernandez of the Beavers in the infield. We head to the 4th. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the top of the fourth we go here. Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers up 3-0 over the Utica Unicorns. One of those 6 hits for the Beavers on the day coming off the bat of the newcomer, Brett Elmer. Elmer with another opportunity to get on base via the infield hit here, running down that line on the right side. Not good enough, though. A nice job from Bobby Webb on that one to retire Elmer. But Elmer, like I mentioned, in his USPBL debut today, he had been a bullpen catcher all year long through the first 69 games of this season, getting an opportunity here today. Of course, the Beavers, knowing that they have already locked in a spot, I'm sure that wouldn't have happened today if that was not the case. But a good story out of the kid of Macomb, Michigan in his debut today. 1 of 2 on the afternoon. He gives way here to Thomas Rulis, the DH, batting in the 9-hole this afternoon as he has all season long for this Birmingham team, leading this entire league with a .347 batting average, batting in that 9 spot all year long. He looks at ball 1 to begin the at-bat, but swings and fouls one off to the netting over to the left side of play. Count even at 1-1. Rulis back in the second inning, reached on a fielder's choice when Elmer was retired at second base. He hits a ground ball to the left side hard over to Brett the Stash Balkin, a liner right there back to first base on the throw. Rulis getting retired via the 6-3. Couple of grounders to the left side of the infield for the first 2 outs in this 4th inning. Bring us back to the top of the order for the Beavers.
Now batting the right fielder, number 26, Don Andre Clark.
So now Don Andre Clark coming up to the plate. The first individual with his 3rd plate appearance in this afternoon. 0 for 2 on the day thus far. He grounded out to the first baseman, Tanner Levine, back in the first, and then reached on a fielder's choice. Back-to-back fielder's choices in that second inning from Rulis and Clark. They were getting down the line on slow hit ground balls and made it safely, but neither of them with a hit just yet. Clark looking at the first 2 pitches he sees, both of them outside of the strike zone. He's worked the 2-0 count here. The 2-0 pitch from Gio Abreu on that outside corner once again, but getting enough of the strike zone right there. It goes to 2-1 on the count for the right-hander. Two one pitch, sort of an ugly swing there from Don Andre Clark, chases after one, but sort of stepped out of the box, opened his stance, and hopefully for his sake is readjusting in the zone there. 2-2 pitch, fastball outside once again. This one misses the zone, and Clark has worked the count full here with 2 outs in this top of the 4th inning. Abreu with the windup, the pitch, fastball hit into left center field, sort of shallow. Initially, Tony Rosselli out there in center was thinking about coming in, but had to take a step back there at the last second for the 3rd and final out. A couple of grounders and a fly out to center. Take out the Beavers 1-2-3 in this 4th inning. Head to the home half. Unicorns looking to get themselves on the board. They trail at 3-0. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland here alongside you in Game 70 of 71 of this 2017 USPBL regular season. A new arm on the mound for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Brandon Matterns Day done after 1 inning of work. 10 pitches in the inning against 3 batters. Gave up 1 hit, had a strikeout, but recorded a 4-6-3 double play in a short inning of work. Now on the mound is Cameron McKenzie. Cameron McKenzie battling against Dylan Sprague in this first initial at-bat. Sprague already down in the count here, 0-2, fouling off the last pitch he saw. But Cameron McKenzie on the season, making his 19th overall appearance in a Birmingham uniform. He's got 5 starts on this season, a 1-1 record. Throws a changeup at 74 miles an hour and leaves it way too far into that hitting zone of Dylan Sprague on the 0-2 pitch. A mistake right there from McKenzie. Forces the leadoff man for the Unicorns to get on here in this bottom of the 4th. But as I was saying, McKenzie's stats on the season, in the 18 total games, he's got a 3.34 ERA supporting that 1-1 record. In 43 innings pitched, he's got 42 strikeouts to 22 walks while giving up 29 hits on the year. Not bad stats for the right-hander. Tanner Levine now batting here for the Utica Unicorns. First pitch he sees, he takes a hack at it, fouls it off to the left side, and out of play it goes. Levine on the afternoon popped out to the first baseman, Gerard Hernandez, for out number 2 back in the first inning. But on the season, Tanner Levine batting .195 coming into play today, making his 13th appearance for this Utica team. Fastball just missing on that outside corner. Newcomer Brett Elmer in his debut behind the dish for this Birmingham team, trying to frame it up on the outside corner, but just missing it was. Count even at 1-1. Sprague over there on first base. He's got 1 stolen base to his credit, has been caught once, but I think I might have even been able to get down to second base on that one. The 1-1 pitch getting away from Elmer right there and nonchalantly jogging over to second base was Sprague. He'll get over there via the wild pitch from the pitcher, Mr. McKenzie. Count 2-1 on the batter, Levine, now with an opportunity with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. Big hole out there in right center field. Wind continuing to blow out to dead center field where that 395 mark is. McKenzie with the pitch after looking at second base, keeping tabs on Sprague over there. Called strike on the inside part of the plate, evens the count up at 2-2 on Levine. Levine has left the yard once this season, so you know it's possible. If he could do that for the Unicorns' 3rd hit of the game, it would cut their deficit to just 1. Too much time being taken there from Cameron McKenzie on the mound, trying to decide what he wants to throw as, of course, with the runner on second base. Brett Elmer, the catcher, having to relay more signs to his pitcher. Want to make sure that the opposition isn't reading the signs there and trying to pick up an extra bag the easy way. The count 2-2 on Levine. McKenzie with a long look to second. Comes home with it, though, and an ugly swing right there from Tanner Levine. He's beating himself up after that one. Just a half-hearted swing. Good enough for out number 1 here in this bottom of the 4th inning. So now Tony Rosselli coming up to the plate here for the Unicorns. With 1 on and 1 out in this bottom of the 4th inning. Rosselli on the afternoon, not a good day to start. Struck out on a 2-2 pitch, swinging to end that first inning. And looks at a called strike on the outside corner for strike number 1 from McKenzie. McKenzie outside of that 0-2 miscue that Sprague singled on. He's looked pretty sharp here in this inning of work. Still a long ways to go, though, with that runner out there at second. Rosselli down in the count here, 0-1. The swing and miss on the breaking ball at 77 miles an hour. Good enough for strike number 2 as Rosselli chases after that slow breaking ball. And now we'll see if Cam McKenzie can battle here in this 0-2 count. Obviously, we all know what happened the last time he got somebody down 0-2. That man standing out there on second base. Wind shifting now towards right field. Big gaps in right center as well as down that right field line. All three outfielders playing back in the outfield. The 0-2 pitch swung on and missed. Elmer lets it go through. It's called strike three. The batter thought he fouled it off. Rosselli having to get thrown out at first. Hernandez having to come back home with it as the heads up running right there from Dylan Sprague. He comes all the way in to score from second base on that drop third strike. Unicorn and company. Jim Estien's got to be happy with that one. Moving up 180 feet. Coming in to score right there is Dylan Sprague. He had never stopped ever since he had moved from second base. Rosselli not happy with the strikeout on that one for out number 2, but a really, really heads-up play there from Dylan Sprague to put the Unicorns on the board. It's 3-1. So base is empty now. Rosselli gets retired via the strikeout, but Sprague coming in to score. Chris Cruz now standing in with nobody on. He's going to try to start things going here again for the Unicorns. McKenzie, the wind up the pitch, hard hit ground ball over to the right side, took a weird hop and actually took the hat off of Gerard Hernandez, but making the great PFP job right there was Cam McKenzie going over first base to cover the base bag, and just like that, 3 down after that run it came in. Unicorns trail at 3-1 as we head to the 5th inning. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 5th we go. Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers leading the Utica Unicorns 3-1 after 4 innings. Gio Abreu for the Utica Unicorns day officially done. He goes 4 innings, throws 60 pitches, 39 of them for strikes. A really good ratio for that starting pitcher. As the new man on the mound, Michael Samanico, starts off Brandon Raw with a hard fastball at 91 on the outer frame. He chases after one. He's down in the count 0-1. But Abreu faced 19 batters in those 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 3 earned runs as Raw fouls one off out of play. 1 walk and 1 strikeout for Abreu, but giving way to Michael Shamanico on the season. He's got a 3.37 ERA in just 5 appearances with the Utica Unicorns. 5th appearance from the bullpen. He does have 1 start to his credit this year. Just 5.1 innings pitched, though. He's at 5 strikeouts while giving up 3 walks and 5 hits on the season. Brandon Raw, who's down in the count 0-2, looks at another 91-mile-an-hour fastball on the outer half. That one missing by a wide margin, though. Raw has to protect here on the 1-2. Look good from up here, but seemed to possibly be just a little bit low. Really good eye there from Brandon Raw, the man out of Moorhead State. Samanico in his 4th appearance versus this Birmingham Bloomfield team. Brandon Raw taking that elevated fastball into left field. Can tell right away that Samanico was not pleased with the way that that ball was released out of his hand. And because of it, Brandon Raw reaches base safely for the second time today, but with his first hit. So Robert Pollard now coming up to the plate with 1 on and nobody out in this top of the 5th inning. Decent day so far for the man out of Columbia University. 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored when he came in to score on that RBI single off the bat of Christian Helsel back in the 1st inning. A hard line drive out into right field. Chris Cruz out there initially couldn't read where that baseball was coming. Couldn't tell if he was coming in or going back, but ends up taking a few steps in and to his right to make the catch on the line. Pollard with a good swing of the bat, but can't get anything out of it. He's out for out number 1. Christian Helsel now standing in, 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Had that RBI single in the 1st, flew out to left field to begin the 3rd inning. An opportunity with a base runner on here in this one. Swings and misses at the first pitch he sees out of the hand of Michael Samanico. His longest outing of the year, 2 innings back on August the 15th against this Birmingham team. Went 2 innings, gave up an earned run on 3 hits, had 1 walk, 1 strikeout against 10 batters. But for the most part, a short relief stint guy. Probably would most likely just be pitching this 5th inning, as both teams are going to let their entire staff go here today in their final regular season game. Both of these teams ready for the playoffs after today. Diamond Hoppers and Woolly Mammoths will battle tomorrow. Helsel down in the count here, 0-2 against the left-hander Samanico. The 0-2 pitch, fastball at 91. Once again, he's consistently staying right there at 91 with the fastball outside. Helsel staying alive in here, protecting that one, going off into the netting. Helsel out of Altoona, Pennsylvania, playing at 3rd base today. Normally a corner infielder, can play both 1st and 3rd. Helsel with a little bit different of a leg kick right there, letting that curveball at 81 not really drop into the zone. Seemed to be a mechanical issue right there. You got to be so mentally focused as a pitcher. One little miscue going wrong from the time you start your delivery up until the release point could hinder where that baseball goes, and you really have to pay attention as the 1-2 pitch. A nice job right there from Samanico. 93 on the gun, high and outside. Helsel no chance of chasing after that one and making contact with it. He goes down for the first strikeout of the inning. Good enough for out number 2. So now Dan Kennan coming up to the plate for the 3rd time today. He has popped out twice to the right side of the infield. Once to the second baseman and once to the 1st. With an opportunity with a man on here for the 2nd time today, Kennan trying to get his 46th hit of the year. Looks at a fastball, just missing on the outside half. Actually, it must have been a changeup, as it says 81 on the gun there. Looked a little bit faster than that. But either way, ball 1 to Kennan. Start off this at-bat. Kennan on the season, batting .273 with this team. The 1-0 pitch, 92-mile-an-hour fastball, fouled off the bat of Kennan. Mentioned both of these teams in their camouflage military appreciation jerseys. They are pretty sweet. Technically, these jerseys not on for sale here at Jimmy John's Field, but can be bid on for the right price. They're definitely worth it here. Kennan in the count, 1-1. Fastball missing low and inside there. One thing I've noticed so far from Samanico's delivery from the stretch, it seems as if until the last second he could either be going to first or home plate as he waits until the very last opportunity to come home with it. He sort of, and I'll describe it as I'm seeing it here once more again, he brings that left leg up, sort of protrudes out towards first base, but then comes home with the pitch, fouling off the 2-1 offer, bringing the count to 2-2. If you're tuning in and you're in the area bidding for those jerseys, ending at 6 o'clock tonight here on this great Labor Day. If you're not out on the boat or grilling, still got a good half of a ball game left here and an opportunity to get some pretty cool merchandise. The count is 2-2 on Dan Kennan. 2-2 pitch fouled off at the last second there. Change up on the outside half at 83 miles an hour. Kennan at the last desperate second, keeping himself alive here, fouling off that pitch. Count remaining at 2-2. Runner on first is Brandon Raw. Dan Kennan at the plate. And at the very last second, Kennan calling time as Shamanico was taking just long enough for Kennan to want to readjust in there. Got called for him, the home plate umpire there at the last second. The pitcher, Shamanico, started his delivery but did not release the baseball. He's ready to go back here now. The count 2-2 on Dan Kennan. The 2-2 pitch fouled off to the left side, right towards the Unicorn dugout down the third baseline. We'll do it all over again. One of the windiest Labor Days I've seen in recent memory. That wind really picking up now, blowing out to all directions here on the field. Dan Kennan, no home runs on the year, but if he gets good contact, you never really know. A good swing of the bat right there from the shortstop for the Beavers, but he fouled it off once again, just a tad early on that changeup. On the 2-2, the runner Raw trying to take second base, but Dan Kennan fouling off another one. 8th pitch of the at-bat right there for the pitcher, Michael Samanico. Dan Kennan has really worked this one. The 2-2 pitch, once again, looked to be as if Kennan went around. Over towards first base he goes, and he gets retired for the second strikeout of the inning, but the hard way there as Greg Jones finishes off the play for the Unicorns in the top of the 5th. Beavers leading it, though, 3-1 over those Unicorns. We head to the home half of the 5th. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Home half of the fifth inning. Rich Borland alongside you. Bobby Webb in the game here, batting first for the Unicorns. Start off this home half of the fifth. New arm on the mound for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, throwing from that tough three-quarters angle. Brian Heldman on the season, a 7.94 ERA through 17 relief appearances, a 1-1 record in 17 innings pitched. He's got 19 strikeouts to his credit while giving up 10 walks and 25 hits on the season. 2-0 pitch, not getting any part of the zone either. He has worked the 3-0 count, Mr. Webb has. 0-for-1 on the afternoon. Struck out looking in that 1-2-3, three-strikeout inning for the starter, Jake Welch. Bobby Webb ready for the 3-0 offer. That one nowhere near the zone as well. That three-quarters delivery point sometimes comes with a little bit of errant throws, and it's exactly what's going on here early on for Mr. Heldman. This is the perfect type of batter that hits off of guys like that. Ball's coming up, rising into the zone instead of going down. Lolio with 6 home runs on the season can go with the pitch and take it out of the yard if he pleases. That wind will definitely help. And that would, in fact, tie the game if he went yard. Lolio on the first pitch he sees, ball 1. And that is 5 straight balls out of the hand of Brian Heldman. Any college baseball fans tuning in, if you know about the TCU tradition, the Horned Frogs, when a starting pitcher throws 4 straight balls to a batter, they will in unison chant, ball 5, ball 5. And TCU down in Texas has an incredible fan base. They have thousands and thousands of people at their games for D1 baseball, and it's got to be absolutely tough for opposing pitching to hear an entire group of people all chanting for you to throw another ball, and they'll do that again and again. And there was a video that went viral a couple years ago where a pitcher had thrown 8 straight balls to 2 batters, and then they were chanting for ball 9, ball 9, ball 9. It was getting very overwhelming for a pitcher. Me being a pitcher in a JUCO team a couple of years ago, I can't even imagine what that would feel like. But either way, you got to imagine this man, Mr. Heldman, going through a little bit of something right now as he's down in the count here 2-0 against Nico Lolio. Lolio on the 2-0. That one missing just low here once again. Heldman on the verge of throwing 8 in a row. And the 3-0, just like that, 8 straight out of the hand of Brian Heldman. Really tough spot here for the right-hander. We'll see how much longer he will go, if any. But 8 straight balls here, good enough for 2 walks. Have the Utica Unicorns in motion here. Greg Jones, who was in this game, batting in the 8th spot, catching for the Utica Unicorns. His day officially done. He gives way to Chris Allen here for the Utica Unicorns. Greg Jones on the day, just 0-for-1 with a strikeout. Chris Allen with a good opportunity here. Runners on first and second. Finally throwing a strike, though, right there was Brian Heldman. And back-to-back, would you look at that? After throwing 8 consecutive balls to begin this bottom of the 5th inning, he has certainly found the strike zone now with back-to-back Ks here against Chris Allen. Oh, 2 pitch. Home plate umpire almost started that ring up there, but a fastball on the outer half at 85, just missing there to Chris Allen. He stays alive for at least one more pitch. Runners on first and second are Lolio and Webb. Both of those men trying to score here off the bat of Chris Allen. He is the what would be winning run out there at the plate, but a nasty slider at 75 from that angle out of the hand of Brian Heldman. Too tough for Chris Allen. He goes down via the K for out number 1 here in this bottom of the 5th. So now Spencer Ibarra coming up to the plate, the Ohio Bobcat. Just graduated in his senior year, becoming a MAC champion for that team and trying to become a champion here in this USPBL. Would be quite the baseball season for the left-hander if he can do that. He's got an opportunity here as he looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. 1 for 1 on the afternoon with a single back in that 3rd inning, but was a part of a 4-6-3 double play that Brett Balkin grounded out into. He stands in on deck. Heldman with a quick look towards second. A line drive over to the second baseman, Sprague. He tosses it over to the shortstop. That was Dan Kennan. And just like that, a double play recorded for the Beavers. Gets out of the jam. We head to the 6th inning. Beavers leading it by a score of 3-1. All right, y'all ready for this? Top of the 6th inning. We head to Beavers leading the Utica Unicorns 3-1 through the first 5 frames. Nick Buckner leading the way for the Beavers in this top of the 6th inning. Gerard Hernandez and Brett Elmer due up behind him. Buckner batting from the left side on the afternoon. He is perfect, 2 of 2. In fact, the only Beaver to yet have been retired here this afternoon. Goes down in the count here, 0-1 to begin his at-bat, but can he go a perfect 3 for 3? Not if the left fielder, Spencer Ibarra, has anything to say about it. Another great shot off the bat of Nick Buckner, but unfortunately for him, that one lined right out to the left fielder out of Ohio University for out number 1. A 3rd really good piece of contact right there from Buckner, but can't get anything out of it. He gives way to Gerard Hernandez. Hernandez had that big fly back in the 2nd inning that drove in Buckner and himself. First time facing off against Michael Shimonico this afternoon. Hernandez also has a strikeout on the day. He ended the 3rd inning chasing after one. Looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat, and then on the 2nd pitch was trying to go just as deep as he had in the 2nd inning, but doesn't make any contact on that one, evening the count up at 1-1. Hernandez out of Phoenix, Arizona, playing at first base here this afternoon for the Beavers. Looking at an off-speed pitch that was nowhere near the zone. An off-speed breaking ball, missing at 79 miles an hour, high and out of the zone. Good enough for ball 2. The count 2-1 on the left-hander. 2-1 pitch, fastball missing low. Looked to be over the heart of the plate, but not up enough. Good stop there from Greg Jones, or excuse me, not Greg Jones. He was replaced by Chris Allen. Chris Allen now doing the catching for the Unicorns behind home plate. Count 3-1 on Hernandez. The 3-1 pitch, fastball down Broadway. Takes another one of those big cuts, but cannot make any contact here once again. Payoff pitch about to ensue. Little break in the action here. Taking a little bit longer than usual, but everybody's set, all ready to go here now. Samanico, the left-hander, starting his long windup, bringing that sort of Clayton Kershaw-esque delivery when he's got nobody on base. He starts his windup, stepping outside and then bringing it back up, but then a combination of Kershaw and actually I would say more like Johnny Cueto, where he brings that front leg up, brings it down, pauses, and then follows through with the delivery. But not doing anything good on that one. Hernandez looks at the 5th pitch of the at-bat. Good enough for ball 4. He reaches base safely for the first base runner here in this 6th inning. Samanico now having to deal with a runner on base. A fastball on the outside corner to Brett Elmer, the man in his USPBL debut. Such a great story. Kid out of Macomb, Michigan. Didn't have the greatest of upbringings, but he has battled his way into the starting lineup here this afternoon in game number 71. He looked at a fastball inside for called strike 1, but then looks at a ball that misses high and outside at 80 miles an hour. Good enough to even the count up at 1-1. Elmer had his first hit in his first plate appearance back in the 2nd inning. It was a infield single over to the right side, but a good opportunity to possibly drive in a run if he could put a baseball in the gap somewhere. 1-1 pitch, fastball swung on and missed. 91 miles an hour. Elmer swung over that one. Count now 1-2 on the batter. Rulis, the on-deck hitter, leading the entire league with a .347 batting average coming into play today. 0 for 2 on the afternoon. But if Elmer can get on base, it would be a great opportunity for Rulis to widen this Beaver lead. The count 1-2 on the left-hander Elmer. The lefty-lefty matchup won by Samanico. Fastball down the heart of the plate. Elmer chases after that one. Good enough for out number 2. First strikeout of his USPBL career. Down goes Elmer. 2 outs here in this top of the 6th inning. Thomas Rulis now coming up to the plate. 3:08 on your YouTube dials, I guess we should say. No radio or TV here, but sort of the perfect in-between scale on this beautiful sunny afternoon that we hope continues that way as we are in this top of the 6th inning. Rulis, the batter here, looks at a fastball on the outer half for called strike number 1. Checking the weather here on my app, says 50% chance of thunderstorms at 5 o'clock, 90% chance at 6, 80% chance at 7, and a 60% chance at 8. So hopefully we can get these next 4 innings in the next hour and a half or so. You would hope in a perfect world that the game would go as planned, but this great game of baseball, no time on the clock. This great game the other night had a game that lasted just an hour and 54 minutes, but we saw one yesterday that lasted near 4 hours long, so we'll see if we can find a happy median this afternoon. Thomas Rulis on the 1-1 pitch, chases after the second strike here in this at-bat. Rulis on the afternoon, like I mentioned, 0 for 2, grounded out to the shortstop back in the 2nd, but reached on the fielder's choice earlier on before that. Wind continuing to blow out here. Samanico trying to get out of this jam. Lefty-righty matchup. Samanico with a couple of looks over there to first base. Coming home with it, though. Fastball at 91 miles an hour. Good job there from Chris Allen to stick his glove way outside and keep that baseball from hitting the backstop. Count evening up at 2-2. Thomas Rulis out of New Hyde Park, New York, just about 20 minutes outside of Long Island. Trying to give the Beavers some life here in this top of the 6th inning. The pitch hit to the left side. The third baseman That is Bobby Webb over to first base, and the stretch right there from Tanner Levine, good enough as he had stretched out into foul territory, but a nice job there from the corner infielders of the Unicorns to retire the Beavers in the top of the 6th inning. Head to the home half. Unicorns trail it 3-1. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Game 70 of 71 of this 2017 USPBL regular season. Rich Borland here with you. We head to this home half of the 6th inning. Unicorns trailing the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers by a score of 3-1. Back out to pitch for the Beavers is Brian Heldman. He'll face off against a new pinch hitter here for the Utica Unicorns, Mike Rampone, batting now for Brett Balkin. Balkin's day is done. He is 0 for 1, reached on a base on balls in the first inning, but grounded out into a 4-6-3 double play back in the third. He gives way to Mike Rampone, who looks at 2 straight pitches to begin this home half of the 6th inning. 1 ball and now 1 called strike. Count even at 1-1 on the batter out of Denville, New Jersey. Mike Rampone, the infielder here, looking at ball 2, a slider that falls far outside of the plate. Nice stop there from the catcher. That is Mr. Brett Elmer in his debut here today with the Birmingham Bloomfield team. If you hadn't heard it, he'd been a bullpen catcher all season long throughout these first 69 games, and with the Beavers clinching the first spot in the playoffs just yesterday, that they were giving Mr. Elmer a chance here, and why not? Love seeing him get an opportunity here, and you never know. That championship game on Sunday, 2 catchers go down. Elmer, better believe it, he's going to be coming in. So it's nice to see him get a taste here this afternoon in the final regular season game for the Beavers. The 3-1 pitch to Mike Rampone misses the zone. That is the 3rd walk of the outing for Mr. Heldman. He started off the 5th inning with back-to-back 4-pitch walks. Ended up getting a strikeout and then a line-out that turned into a double play. But a 5-pitch walk here to Mike Rampone gives way to Dylan Sprague here in this bottom of the 6th inning. Sprague on the afternoon, 1 for 2, had a single and came in to score in the 4th inning on an 0-2 pitch that the pitcher before Heldman, Cam McKenzie, had left up in the air. Sprague took full advantage of it, and he came in to score the only run of the ball game so far for the Unicorns, but an opportunity for him to drive in some runs here. He does have 2 home runs on the season, Looks at ball one. That misses outside. So here we go again with the balls. That is 5 balls on 6 pitches here in this inning for Heldman. Sort of starting off this bottom of the 6th the same way he did the 5th. 1-0 pitch. Fastball missing what looked to be low right there. The count now 2-0 on the batter, Dylan Sprague, Sprague on the season, batting .264 on the year through 24 games with the Unicorns. He's got 19 hits and 72 at-bats coming into play today. But like I mentioned, 1 for 2. Keeping an eye on the runner over at first base. That is the pitcher, Mr. Brian Heldman. Mike Rampone, meanwhile, let's double check if he's got any stolen bases on the season. Mike Rampone, to his credit, with 1 stolen base on 4 tries, so he's been caught more than he would have liked. But back to this current story, Brian Heldman continuing to miss the strike zone. He's thrown 1 strike here through these first 9 pitches in this, through the first 8 pitches. Pitch number 9 about to ensue. Finally finding the strike zone right there. Count going to 3-1 on Dylan Sprague. But honestly, if I'm Sprague, I'd probably look at another one. Force him to really battle in this one. Talking about Heldman, of course. Infield, outfield for the most part at normal depth. Wind continuing to blow out of the field here. 3-1 pitch hit to the right side. A diving stop there from Gerard Hernandez. Got the baseball but lost the hat. It's bound to happen there with that throw. He gets the force out at first base. And in fact, good enough for the 1-800-Hamptons get it done play of the game. That ball was launched off that baseball bat. And Gerard Hernandez playing even with that baseline right there as he was covering Mike Rampone over at first base. Really heads-up job there for the man out of Phoenix, Arizona for out number 1. But like I mentioned, Mike Rampone moving into scoring position over there at second base now. The 3-U put out there from Gerard Hernandez brings us back to Tanner Levine, the first baseman for the Unicorns. First pitch he sees, fouling it off. Looked to have either gotten the head of Brett Elmer or the shoulder of the home plate umpire. Either way, everybody seems to be just fine. That's a good sign there. Levine on the afternoon, 0 for 2, popped out to first base in the first inning and then struck out swinging back in the 4th. So looking for his first hit of the ball game and RBI number 3 of the season. Levine in just his 13th game with this Utica team. He's got 8 hits and 41 at-bats coming into play today, and Levine not making the nicest of friends here with the home plate umpire. Back-to-back offers from Brett Heldman have gone off the bat of Levine and ricocheted off of Mr. Umpire behind home plate right here. First one going off the shoulder, second one taking the mask off. But he seems to be perfectly fine. He's good. Levine, though, not too hot. Down in the count here, 0-2. He's going to have to try and take the ball the opposite way and go with the wind and the pitch and take it to left. Heldman with a long look towards second. Gets into that crouching delivery. Just missing on the outside corner with that 84-mile-an-hour pitch. Just misses the zone there. The count now moving to 1-2 on Levine. Rosselli looming on deck. He 0 for 2 on the day with 2 strikeouts. For the first time today, Brian Heldman with quite an awkward show-me pick over there towards second base. Brought his front left leg up and sort of crouched as if he was about to deliver a pitch, but then quickly motioned towards second base. No throw being made there by Heldman, just keeping an eye on the runner, see even if he was going to go from second to third. On this 1-2 pitch, a soft lofted ball to the left side. The third baseman, that was Christian Helsel, making a miscue on the throw, and it goes all the way into the corner at the head of the Birmingham dugout. And just like that, on the air, Tanner Levine going all the way around to third base, driving in Mike Rampone. Clearly an unearned run right there against Brian Heldman. But just like that, the Unicorns cut the lead to just 1. So an E5 on the board, that one going against Christian Helsel. on the season. Let's check this out. Christian Helsel on this season. He's in game number 15. He's got no errors. That was his first error of the entire season, and it's coming back to haunt him right here after that error committed that drove Tanner Levine all the way to third. Right on cue, Tony Rosselli on the first pitch he sees, drives the ball into right field for an RBI single. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen, our ball game is all tied up at 3. Just one out on the board here. That was Dylan Sprague, who grounded out to Mr. Hernandez. Just imagine where we'd be right now if he had not made that diving stop over at first base to retire the first out of this inning. Be a whole lot bigger world of trouble for the Beavers, but tried to limit it as much as they can. Chris Cruz, the batter, now standing in. Cruz on the day 0 for 2, struck out back in the second inning. Standing in here now with a 1-1 count. This ball hit high and deep into left center field. Back to go get it is Nick Buckner. He cannot make the play at the wall. Rounding second, coming to third is Rosselli. He's getting waved in to score. The cutoff man hit it shortstop. Play at the plate. Not in time. In to score safely. Rosselli just beating the throw. An almost perfect executed play right there from the left fielder, Nick Buckner, Dan Kennan, the shortstop, and Brett Elmer at the plate. But too much speed there from Tony Rosselli of the Utica Unicorns comes in, and the Unicorns take the 4-3 lead. RBI double for Chris Cruz. What a job right there for the man out of Cornell University, mashing that baseball deep about 310 feet into left center. Nick Buckner could not make the play at the wall, and because of it, Rosselli comes in for the third run of this inning. Good enough to give the Unicorns the 4-3 lead here. So the tides have completely turned against the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Just imagine if this game had actually meant something. Obviously yesterday, if you're unfamiliar, the two teams that played yesterday, that was these Utica Unicorns as well as the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers ending up victorious last night and clinched themselves the second seed in this USPBL picture. Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, of course, in first place. They locked themselves into the championship game on this upcoming Sunday. Unicorns will play in the first play-in game against the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Bobby Webb here standing in at the plate, driving a ball into center field. Coming in to score is Cruz, and just like that, the Unicorns continue their fourth consecutive man to reach base safely.
Next up for the Unicorns, a designated hitter number 24, Nico Lolio.
RBI single for Bobby Webb, drives in Chris Cruz. Unicorns feeling it here in this home half of the sixth inning, a 4 spot thus far. Now Nico Lolio coming up to the plate. On the afternoon, 0 for 1, struck out in that second inning as a part of a 3-strikeout inning for Jake Welch. Walked on 4 straight pitches to lead off the fifth inning. That was off of this man, Brian Heldman's count. Lolio, meanwhile, in this one, swings at the first pitch he sees. He's down in the count now, 0-1. Oh, 1 pitch. Nice backdoor fastball on the outside corner. Good enough for strike number 2. Lolio has put himself in a deep hole. Lolio down in the count here. Heldman with the 0-2 delivery. An inside fastball at 83 miles an hour jams Lolio's hands, and that ball flying into the glove of Christian Helsel over at third base, right on the lip of the outfield grass. He comes up with the catch for out number 2. Staying over there at first base is Bobby Webb. And coming up to the plate now, Chris Allen in for his second plate appearance of the afternoon. He came in to pinch hit for Greg Jones in just the 5th inning. Two outs, runner on first base. Chris Allen standing in, swings at the first pitch he sees. Down in the count, he is 0-1. Wind starting to pick up even more here. Chris Allen on the season batting just .161 in his now 16th game here with the Utica Unicorns. The miscue between Brian Heldman and Brett Elmer, letting a ball getting to the backstop. Bobby Webb with ease, getting over towards second base on the wild pitch. So the runner moves into scoring position. Good opportunity for Chris Allen to get his 3rd RBI of the season. The 1-1 pitch hit into center field. Continuing to mash the baseball is the Unicorns. Might be another play at the plate here, and not in time. Just getting that front left arm in at home plate at the last second was Bobby Webb. Initially, it looked like we were going to have another bang-bang play at the plate, but the baseball sort of hit a rut in the grass right in front of that home plate area, which slowed up the baseball. Just getting in there was Bobby Webb for the 6th run of the game for the Unicorns, 5th of the inning. And they continue to pummel Brian Heldman and company. So Bobby Webb and Chris Allen switch positions. The RBI single for him. He moves to second on the throw. But Spencer Ibarra now standing in 1 for 2 on the afternoon with a single. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. Ibarra down in the count, 0-1. Ibarra on the season batting just .137 through 18 games. He's got 7 hits and 51 at-bats, 5 runs scored on the season. He's brought in 7 of his own, 8 walks on the year to 17 strikeouts coming into play today. He's quickly found himself in an 0-2 hole after swinging and missing at the 0-1. Pitch swung on and missed. The catcher, that was Brad Elmer in his debut, tried to get the runner going towards first base, but he ends up getting the strikeout completed via the K2-3, tossing it over to Hernandez. Good enough for out number 3. But the Utica Unicorns putting up a 5 spot in that bottom of the 6th inning. They lead it 6-3 as we head to the 7th. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland here with you in Game 70 of 71. Just a game and 3 innings to go here in this 2017 USPBL regular season. It's been quite the ride. Michael Simonico, who came in to relieve Gio Abreu in this ballgame, is done for the day. 36 pitches in 2 innings, 24 of them for strikes. Faced off against 8 batters, gave up just 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. To his credit, he gives way to Lane Gussler of the Utica Unicorns. Let's give you his numbers real quick. A 2-4 record in 26 total games, making his 24th appearance from the bullpen here today. He's got a 7.29 ERA through 33.1 innings pitched. In those innings, he's got 34 strikeouts to his credit while allowing 19 walks and 42 hits on the season. Gussler facing off against the leadoff hitters in this 7th inning against the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Don Andre Clark, Brandon Raw, and Rob Poller due up here to start off this 7th inning. Clark looking at called strike 1, then looking at ball 1. Count even at 1-1 here in this one. Don Andre Clark on the afternoon, 0 for 3. Grounded out in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the second, and flew out to center back in the 4th. A chopping ground ball to the right side of the infield is going to be an absolutely impossible play for both the first baseman, that is Tanner Levine, and the pitcher, Lane Gussler, to connect on. A soft hit ground ball combined with too much speed from Don Andre Clark. An absolutely easy infield single there for the right fielder for the Beavers. He reaches base safely to start off this 7th. Brandon Raw now coming up to the plate for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. He's got a base runner on here. Second opportunity of the day that he has been at the plate with a runner on. Raw chasing after the first one he sees and fouling it off to the left side of play. Down in the count he is 0-1. Singled in the 5th, walked in the 2nd, flew out to center in the 1st. Not a bad day so far for Brandon Raw, but he'd like to continue it. Unicorns putting up that 5 spot in the bottom of the 6th inning. Now ahead 6-3 here against these Beavers. Raw on the 0-1, fouling off a pitch. He's down in the count now, 0-2. Remember the implications of the game today and then the game on Thursday, not necessarily meaning much except for a little bit of pride and just continuing the craft of this great game of baseball. Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers locked in, secured as the 1 seed. The Utica Unicorns now the 3 seed after losing yesterday's game to the Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers with that win, moving to 27-24 on the season. Good enough for 2nd place overall. They will play the winner of the first play-in game of the playoffs, the winner of the Westside Woolly Mammoths and the Utica Unicorns. It all starts on Friday, the playoffs do, but Game 71 of the regular season on that Thursday. Excited for the final 4 games of this season. Brandon Raw on the 1-2 pitch, staying alive, fouling off another one. The 3rd fouled off hit here in this at-bat. It's an absolutely gorgeous Labor Day holiday here on this Monday, September the 4th in Utica, Michigan. Continuing to check the Doppler radar as we get closer and closer to the 5 o'clock hour. Rain percentages going down at 5, but going up at 6. From the last time we checked in with that. A 30% chance of thunderstorms at 5 p.m. and an 80% chance at 6 and 7. The 1-2 pitch missing low out of the zone. Good enough to even the count up at 2-2. Over there on first base, Don Andre Clark on the season. Mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, he's got 15 stolen bases in 22 attempts. See if he tries to go here on the 2-2. Not going anywhere. Brandon Raw, meanwhile, chasing after one, and he is retired today for a strikeout for the first time. Good enough for out number 1 here in this top of the 7th. As the winds continue to shift in this beautiful day, Robert Poller standing in for the 4th time this afternoon. doubled and came in to score in the first inning, but popped out to shortstop in the second, lined out on a good swing to right field where Chris Cruz is standing back in the fifth inning. Standing in for the fourth time today, he looks at a called strike one on the outside part of the plate. Pollard down in the count here, 0-1 against Lane Gussler. Nice two-seamer on the outside half of the plate. Swinging and missing was Pollard on that 92-mile-an-hour pitch. Mentioned Gussler on the season in his 27th overall appearance for the Unicorns, 25th from the bullpen. He has not gone longer than 2 innings. He went 2 innings on August the 1st and 2 innings on July the 29th. But outside of that, he hasn't really done much. The 0-2 pitch, fastball missing high. Count moving to 1-2 on Pollard. Pollard on the season coming into play today, the third best batting average on this Birmingham team at .341 through 28 games. Down in the count here, 1-2 though against Gussler. Gussler, the 1-2 pitch, changeup at 83 miles an hour, missing the zone just outside. Good enough for ball 2. The count even up at 2-2 here against Pollard. Pollard on the year, 6 home runs in 28 games. Good enough for second on this team. That, of course, behind the man who was up for the contention of Triple Crown last season. That was Mr. Nick Wilson. He no longer on this Birmingham Bloomfield team. He had left for school, had an opportunity, and he took it. I'm sure the Beavers are missing him, but they have succeeded well enough to be the first place team overall. Can only imagine how far ahead they'd be if they still had Mr. Wilson. Pollard, meanwhile, on the 2-2, fouling one off. A nice piece of hitting, but far too early. Count remains even at 2-2. Two-two pitch out of the hand of Gussler. Lifted high and shallow into left field. Initially, it was going to go foul, but the wind bringing it back into play out there in left field looks to be Nico Lolio. And would you look at that, the baseball coming back into fair territory and completely fooling both the left fielder Lolio and the shortstop out there. That was Mike Rampone. Tough spot right there, but Pollard gets his second hit of the afternoon. A base hit brings runners to first and second here. Mentioned both of these teams in their Army recognition jerseys here, the camos. First pitch to Helsel, missing inside. The bids start at $60 in this auction online. You can go to the website, www.32auctions.com/militaryappreciation.com. 50% of the proceeds will go to the Army Emergency Relief Fund, which is the Army's own emergency financial organization that is dedicated to helping the Army take care of its own. An absolutely great job done here by the folks at the USPBL, not only with an opportunity to have people get some awesome merchandise, but giving back to the forces as well. Christian Helsel on the 1-1 pitch, driving in a run, taking the baseball the opposite field into right. Helsel with his second RBI single of the day, good enough to cut the Unicorn lead to 2. So both Robert Pollard and Christian Helsel move up 90 feet. Don Andre Clark, meanwhile, coming all the way in to score from second. Dan Kennan now coming up to the plate for the Beavers. Tough day so far for Mr. Kennan. Couple of pop-outs to the right side of the infield and then struck out back in the fifth. He hits a chopper over towards the left side of the infield where Bobby Webb picks the baseball up, steps to his right to step on third, and then throws it over to first to retire Dan Kennan. Beavers get out of that one, but they get a run in the top of the 7th. We head to stretch time here at Jimmy John's Field. Unicorns leading it 6-4. If you're up at home, stand up, get out of your seat, and stretch here with us at Jimmy John's Field. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. So let's root for the home team. They don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Great job, Jimmy Johnson.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to game number 70 of 71. We head to the home half of the 7th inning. Utica Unicorns on top of the Beavers by a score of 6-4. Chris Heldman's day officially done for the afternoon. He pitched the 5th and 6th innings, gave up 5 hits against the 13 batters he faced, 2 earned runs, and then 3 walks, 2 strikeouts for him. Now coming up to pitch for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, that is Chris Falwell. Chris Falwell on the season, a 21.60 ERA. You could say he could do better this afternoon. 6 relief appearances for the left-hander and just 1.2 innings pitched, 1 strikeout, 5 walks, 3 hits. Definitely an opportunity for this man to improve on his stats and as well as his command. Seems to be an issue over at home plate as Mike Rampone in for the second at-bat today. He had led off the 6th inning, reached on a 5-pitch walk after he had came in the game for Brett Balkin. And he's now in the count here 2-1 ahead of the pitcher, Chris Falwell. But it seems as if there's an issue here with the newcomer, Brett Elmer, the catcher for this Birmingham team. He had been in the bullpen the entire season, getting his first opportunity to play in a game this afternoon with this team. I'm assuming him more than anybody wants to stay in this game here this afternoon. Plenty of opportunities for all these guys out here playing today, but Brett Elmer with his first chance to play in between the lines here in this USPBL 2017 season. Getting checked on currently right now by a Beaumont health official, trainer out there doing a great job. She is making sure that these fine young men are getting taken care of so they can play this great game of baseball. Conversation between the manager, Chris Newell, as well as Elmer, the home plate umpire, and the trainer. Looked to be some sort of maybe a quad issue or something in that thigh area. But it looks like the day and possibly the season going to be done for Mr. Brett Elmer. He's getting a nice big round of applause and a nice handshake there from Chris Newell. Got to give credit to Mr. Elmer. He had 3 at-bats on the day, put the ball in play twice, and in fact got a single on the ball game. Can't ask for much more in your debut. You got on base for the team, doing the best you can to help, but unfortunately will get taken out of this game. With a break in the action, talked a little bit about it in the pregame show, dedicating this broadcast to one of my brother's former really good friends, Jamie Keller, who unfortunately had committed suicide just a couple of days ago. Jamie was a great kid to know, played hockey with my brother for years, and he, honestly, I told my little brother this, that he had been one of my brother's friends that was always going out of his way to make sure that everybody was okay themselves. He was one of the nicest human beings that I had the pleasure of knowing, and for some reason it's usually people like that that do something like that. You never know what battles people face every day, but no, it's never worth it to take it that far. Jamie Keller, we're sure going to miss you, bud, and hope you're not in any more pain that you were dealing with in the life that you had. But back to this baseball game here. Everybody set back, ready to go. Chris Falwell, the pitcher on the mound, finding the strike zone here, evening the count up at 2-2 against Mike Rampone. 0 for 0 on the afternoon, reached on a walk back in the previous 6th inning. New catcher for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, trying to get a number on it, as these camo jerseys, as nice as they are, not as easy to see them. That looks to be number 17, Robert Lucido, for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. He's out of Woodstock, Maryland. But Mike Rampone has worked the count full here against the left-hander, Chris Falwell, and nowhere near the zone at 67 miles an hour. Rampone reaches for the 2nd consecutive time today, both on base on balls.
Next up is shortstop, number 9, Dylan Sprague.
Dylan Sprague coming up to the plate for the 4th time here today. 1 for 3 on the afternoon. He's put every ball on the ground. 2 of the 3 times over towards that first baseman, Gerard Hernandez. The other time up the middle for a base knock. Grounded out into a 3-4-1 putout back in the first inning, the one that ricocheted off of Hernandez's glove and hat. That was quite a wild play. And then back in that 6th inning where the Unicorns had batted around after Mike Rampone led off the 6th inning with a base on balls, Sprague, who's batting now, hit that hard liner to Hernandez over at first base. That was a tough out in that long half inning. Sprague on the 2-0 pitch, getting completely drilled in the back with that one. 70 miles an hour on the pitch, though, so couldn't have hurt all that bad. But the first 2 men have reached on base here against Chris Falwell in this 7th inning. Tanner Levine now coming up to the plate. 0 for 3 on the afternoon. A pop out to the first baseman, Mr. Hernandez. Strikeout swinging back in the fourth and then reaching on an error in the sixth inning, committed by the third baseman, Christian Helsel. Levine looking at a ball that misses far out of the zone. Command clearly an issue here for Chris Falwell. A bending breaking ball at 69 miles an hour falling in right there. Good enough for strike number one. Levine says, okay, so the fastball might not be working, but that slow breaking ball is for sure. We'll see if Falwell goes back to it. And in fact, he does. That sort of that big looping breaking ball. Not necessarily a 12-6, but not all that bad. I'm sure the left-hander would love to see about 10 more miles an hour on that pitch, but clearly not everybody capable of certain feats. 2-1 pitch, curveball coming in there once again. That one missing for the second consecutive time, and Tanner Levine has worked the count 3-1 in his favor. On the 3-1 pitch, Levine looking at a called strike, a fastball on the outside corner. Good enough to bring this count full. Lefty-lefty matchup, runners on first and second. Tanner Levine trying to stay alive in this one. He cannot. He puts his bat around just enough. Home plate umpire calling it right away. Ball got away from the catcher. That was Robert Lucido, but not far enough so that the base runners could move up any further. Levine goes down via the strikeout for out number one. Tony Rosselli now standing in here for the Unicorns, looking at ball one that misses outside. On the afternoon, a couple of strikeouts, but an RBI single in the sixth, as Tony Rosselli 1 for 3 on the day. Rosselli ahead in the count 1-0, a looping breaking ball at 70 miles per hour. Swung on and missed from Rosselli, the man out of Terre Haute, Indiana. Wind continuing to blow out here at Jimmy John's Field. Another slow looping breaking ball. That time just dropping out of the strike zone. Count 2-1 here on Rosselli. Ground ball hit hard over to the left side. Initially, Christian Helsel was trying to make a great top 10 play, diving to his left side. He initially stopped the baseball. It rolled out of his glove and rolled to the left side of him. Unfortunately for him, could not get anything out of it. You got to imagine that that's going to be an infield single hit hard right there off the bat of Tony Rosselli. And my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, are we seeing what I think I'm seeing? Yes, in fact, a pitcher getting an at-bat here. Lane Gussler, who came out to pitch the previous half inning for the Unicorns, now currently in to pinch hit for Chris Cruz. You do not see that happen every day unless you're watching a Little League game. And what a day here Lane Gussler could possibly have. Gussler on this season, let's double check and make sure he doesn't have any more at-bats. And in fact, he has had one at-bat in this season. Not sure exactly when it was, but actually, let's take that back. August the 29th against the Beavers, he had an at-bat, reached safely on a base on balls. So we'll see if he can do that here again. He's worked the count here 2-0 already. Bases juice for the man at the plate. 2-0 pitch, almost getting a piece of Gussler's hair, but going into the backstop, not enough room for Robert Lucido to make the catch. And coming in to score was Mike Rampone from third base. Unicorns now up 7-4. Beavers clearly not trying to waste any more of their good arms. Last thing you want to see, of course you want to get your guys some innings in, but the last thing you would want to see is one of your better guys getting hurt here in this meaningless game. And look at that, Lane Gussler, for the second time this year, ends up getting a base on balls. He barely had to lift the bat off the shoulder. He goes to first. Tony Rosselli moving to second. Dylan Sprague going all the way to third. And now Chris Newell coming out, possibly making a change. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. There is a righty getting loose out there in the bullpen for the Beavers. No signal just yet. Chris Newell out there trying to have his pitcher focus on the command. I could tell he was talking about something with a breaking ball, and it looks like the day is going to officially be done for Chris Falwell. Let you know who the new arm is coming out to pitch for the Beavers here in this one when we come back. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 70 of 71 of this 2017 USPBL regular season. Utica Unicorns currently up 7-4 over the Beavers, but they are not done yet. Chris Falwell, who went just .1 inning against 5 hitters, gave up 1 hit, 1 earned run as of now. Bases are juice currently, and all of those runners going towards him. He gave up 2 walks, had a strikeout on the day, but he gives way to James Ball here for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. First pitch in the dirt, getting away from Robert Lucido initially, but he got up out of his chair and quickly skirmied over to that baseball, quick enough to not let Dylan Sprague come in to score. The pitcher, though, on the mound now for the Beavers is James Ball. On the season, making his 15th appearance, 13th from the pen on the season for the Beavers. He's got a 1-2 record in 21.1 innings pitched. He supports a 5.48 ERA. He's got 14 strikeouts to his credit while allowing 6 walks and 23 hits in those 14 games. He's dealing with Bobby Webb here right now, who had an RBI single back in that 6th inning. Bobby Webb, after looking at called ball 1, looks at a strike. The count now even at 1-1. Bobby Webb on the day, 1-for-2. Had that RBI single in the 6th, reached on a 4-pitch walk in the 5th, but struck out looking in that 3-strikeout inning for Jake Welch back in the 2nd. Webb on the 1-1 pitch, looks at a ball low and away. Another good stop there from Robert Lucido, the man out of Woodstock, Maryland, going to his right, stopping that one once again. Bobby Webb has worked himself into a 2-1 count here with the bases loaded and 1 out in this bottom of the 7th inning. Utica Unicorns trying to make themselves at 500 to end this 2017 season. And a tough play right there. Too eager on the play was James Ball. That ball got hit softly down the third base line. Initially, Christian Helsel was trying to make the play. James Ball went over there thinking he had a good opportunity to make it, but both of them colliding. James Ball going underneath Helsel, Helsel falling over him. Coming in to score was Dylan Sprague. Everybody moving up 90 feet. Not necessarily going to be given an error right there. Sort of just a miscue, a mental error, if you. There between James Ball and Christian Helsel. Definitely James Ball at fault right there. Everybody moving up 90 feet on that infield RBI single for Bobby Webb. His back-to-back RBI singles for him gets him 2 for 3 on the afternoon. Nico Lolio now standing in. He looks at ball one to begin his at-bat. 8-4 here, Unicorns in this 7th inning. They are still threatening with bases loaded and one out. Fastball outside corner. Lolio looking at ball two. James Ball, like I mentioned, in his 15th appearance for this Birmingham team. He has pitched against the Unicorns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different times. 2-0 pitch, not hitting the strike zone either, and just like that, Mr. Ball could walk in a run here. Mentioned on the season, 14 strikeouts to 6 walks coming into play today. A decent ratio. But in a big, big spot here, he's got to throw a strike to Nico Lolio. 3-0 pitch, swinging was Lolio. He hits one into right field, given the green light right there. He brings in 1 run. Coming in to score is Lane Gussler, but getting thrown out at third base was Bobby Webb as he tried to get over to third. But 2 more runs come in, both Rosselli and Gussler coming in for the Unicorns. They now hit the double-digit mark. They lead it 10-4 over the Beavers. Two outs now on the board as Bobby Webb gets put out via the 9-4-5 put out. Don't see that every day for out number 2. Lolio, though, on that 3-0 pitch, had the green light, took advantage of it, drove right through the stop sign. Chris Allen now standing in for his 3rd plate appearance. He came in to relieve Greg Jones in the 5th inning. Struck out in that 5th inning, but had an RBI single in that long 6th for the Unicorns, and it's looking like back-to-back tough innings here for Birmingham pitching. Allen down in the count 0-1, looks at ball 1 to even the count up at 1-1. Runner on first is Nico Lolio. Lolio on the season. Let's check out if he's got any stolen bases. He, in fact, is 0 for 1. Just been caught stealing once. Chris Allen, meanwhile, looking at ball 2. He's worked himself ahead in the count. Two-one pitch hit softly to the right side. The pitcher, Ball, coming up with the catch and relaying it over to first base where Hernandez is standing. But the Unicorns put up another 4 runs in the half inning. We head to the 8th. Unicorns in front by 6. They lead it 10-4 over the Beavers. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland here with you as we head to this 8th inning. Utica Unicorns on top of the Beavers 10-4. Lane Gussler back out for inning number 2 of work. Had a strikeout in the 7th inning, but did give up a run on 3 hits. Out for inning number 2 of work. He actually reached on a base on balls back in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Came all the way in to score, and he was motoring the Jets, coming around third base, scoring from second on an RBI single off the bat of Bobby Webb. Pretty cool when you can do both sides of the baseball field. You can pitch, you can hit, you can run, you can throw. Must be nice. A lot of guys at this level don't see it too often where a guy can pitch and swing a bat, but Gussler, one of the few. He's got a 2-1 count here on Buckner. Buckner on the afternoon, 2 for 3 with a couple of singles. Hits a hard ground ball over to the right side of the infield, but over there to make the play, Tanner Levine with the unassisted putout. Good enough for out number 1 here in this top of the 8th. Gerard Hernandez standing in for the 4th time today. Had that giant home run in the 2nd inning that drove in himself and Mr. Buckner. Since then, he struck out and walked, looking like he's going to get a base hit here today. A single right there, taking it the opposite way into left center field. Stuck the bat out, and something good came out of it. Sometimes that's all you really have to do. See ball, hit ball, and that's exactly what Gerard Hernandez did right there. A 1-out single for him. So now standing in place of Brett Elmer, Robert Lucido, who came in to defensively replace Elmer in this game after he had a little bit of an injury. Hoping he's okay. Lucido, meanwhile, looking at ball 1 in the dirt out of the hand of Gussler. The first inning of work, he had 18 pitches, 12 of them for strikes, no walks, 1 strikeout. Did give up the 3 hits and the 1 run, but back out for another inning of work here. He's down in the count, though, against Lucido, 2-0. Good opportunity here for the Unicorns to turn a double play. Hernandez over there on first has plenty of speed, but Lucido not the most at the plate. Hard ground ball could easily be 2 here against the Beavers, but instead the 2-0 pitch missing low and away here. He has worked the 3-0 count. The 3-0 pitch falling in for a called strike by the home plate umpire. Lucido not out of the woods just yet. Might look at another one, though, as he's ahead here 3-1 against a guy who hasn't found the strike zone in this at-bat. 3-1 from Gussler, fastball outside corner, called strike 2 on the outer half of the plate. Lucido now will have to battle here in this full count effort. Gussler waiting to see what the catcher is going to call. Tells him to shake off once, then brings in the sign. Payoff pitch about to ensue. Hernandez over on first, not going anywhere. Slider hit to the left side. Let's see if it's 2. The third baseman, Bobby Webb, getting Hernandez over there at second, but it looks like the second base umpire, that is Gary Wagenschutz, says that the man at second base, Dylan Sprague, had not completely cleanly picked up that baseball. I'll be honest, ladies and gentlemen, might have seen a missed call right there from Mr. Wagenschutz, as for me it seemed as if it was on the transfer as he was trying to get the runner out at first. But what a turn of events here for the Unicorns. And now making his way out to have a conversation with Mr. Gary Wagenschutz. Jim Essien, the manager of this Utica team, coming out to talk with the base umpire. And he's at least asking if Mr. Wagenschutz can ask his partner for a second opinion, but Wagenschutz seems to be pretty confident with his call. He's a great umpire, but think he might have missed one right then and there. Instead of the force out at second base and possibly the double play, the miscue at second allows Lucido to reach on what would have been a fielder's choice. Runners now on first and second, still just one out here in this top of the 8th inning. Unicorns still with a heavy lead, 10-4 on the scoreboard. Thomas Rulis, though, the batter for the Beavers, standing in. Looks at called ball one on the outside corner to start off his 4th at-bat of the afternoon. Reached on a fielder's choice in the second, but grounded out to shortstop and third base in the previous 2 at-bats. He lines one into right field. Hernandez coming towards home plate. The throw offline from the man in right field. That was not Chris Cruz. That was a man who had came in from left field, Spencer Ibarra. He transferred from left to right, but not a good enough throw there. Allows Hernandez to come in to score. Lucido moving up just 90 feet over towards second base. But an RBI single off the bat of Thomas Rulis. Part of the reason he's been batting in that 9 slot all season long, leading this league at the batting average of 347 coming into play today. Score now 10-5 in favor of the Unicorns. Still a long ways to go here for the Beavers, but we know that they are more than capable of coming back in this one. Donandre Clark in the count, looks at ball one to start off this at-bat. Got a single in his last plate appearance and came around to score in the 7th. He hits a line drive down the right field line, but about 4 feet foul over there into the corner it goes. Count evening up at 1-1 against Mr. Clark. Clark on the afternoon, just 1 of 4. He had been retired in his 1st and 3rd at-bats, reached on a fielder's choice back in the 2nd inning. And then, like I mentioned, scored after he had singled in the 7th. He's got a 1-1 count here in this one. No home runs on the year for the man out of Hayward, California. Trying to take the ball the opposite way, hitting it foul into the netting over to our left here in the press box. Count going to 1-2 on Mr. Clark. Lane Gussler with the 1-2 pitch. Fastball at 92 miles an hour, high and away in the zone. Clark staying alive here in this one, following the ball off and out of play once again. Clark coming into play today, a .294 average through 51 games with the Beavers. 59 hits and 201 at-bats coming into play today. Looking at called ball two that misses outside, evening the count up at 2-2. Just about 4:15 on your clocks here in this Eastern Standard Time. In game number 70 of 71 on this September the 4th. 2-2 pitch to Donandre Clark. Trying to enter the back door of his home was Lane Gussler, but just not getting enough of the outside corner right there. Good enough to be called for ball number 3. Count has rung full here now against Donandre Clark. 1 out on the board. Runners on first and second are Thomas Rulis and Robert Lucido. See if they're going here on the pitch. Wind continuing to blow out to left center. 3-2 pitch, swung on and fouled off here once again. Donandre Clark continues to have a good at-bat. Clark awaiting the payoff pitch. 3-2 offer, hit into right center field. It's shallow, could be trouble for Tony Rosselli, and he ends up making the catch on the run for out number 2. Almost getting doubled off at second was Robert Lucido. But just like that, Donandre Clark retired for out number 2 via the flyout to center field. Brandon Ross stepping in now from the right side on the day, 1 for 3. Single in the 5th, flew out to center in the 1st, struck out in the 7th, reached on a walk though. back in the second inning. Coming up on the 5th plate appearance on the day for Brandon Raw. An opportunity to cut this Unicorn lead to just 2 if he could leave the yard. 8 home runs on the season for Brandon Raw. If he, in fact, did hit a homer here, I'm almost positive he would be tied for the league lead. Fastball on the outside corner, evening this count up at 1-1. But yes, on the year, John Mencken of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers with 9 home runs. Cam Stewart with 8. Alex Abbott of the Woolly Mammoths with 8 as well. But Brandon Raw with an opportunity here. This ball going towards the right field line, and would you look at that? Right on cue. Brandon Raw with his 9th home run of the season. Good enough to drive in 3 runs. Ladies and gentlemen, would you look at that? Unicorns lead diminished now. Only 2-run lead here with that 3-run home run. Brandon Raw taking the baseball the other way, and that one staying just inside that foul pole down the right field line, about 325 feet. Good enough to leave the ball yard here. Beavers not going away quietly. So Brandon Raw drives in himself, Thomas Rulis, and Robert Lucido. Robert Poller now standing in from the left side. We'll see if he can continue this inning here for the Beavers. Hard liner back up the middle. Lane Gussler starting to fall apart here in this 8th inning. See how much further Jim Essien and company allow him to go, as somebody is getting loose out there in right field. Let's see if I can quickly get a number on him as my binoculars focus. He's getting loose out there. It's like trying to get into Fort Knox, trying to read these camo jerseys out there, especially if they're out in the outfield. But looks to be number 25, Sean Gustin. He's out of Stoneham, Maryland, or Massachusetts, I should say. Helsel, meanwhile, standing in here now with 2 outs and a runner on first base. On the afternoon, Helsel 2 of 4 with a couple of singles, a fly out and a strikeout. 0-1 pitch missing inside, evens it up at 1-1. But what a day right there for Brandon Raw. 3 RBIs with 1 swing of the bat. Good enough to give the Beavers 8 runs here in this game, but unfortunately for them, they still trail this one by 2. Helsel, meanwhile, fouling off the 3rd pitch of the at-bat. He's down in the count here, 1-2. Lane Gussler trying to escape this barrage of hits that the Beavers have put up here in this top of the 8th inning. Already 4 runs scored, but 2 outs, and the Beavers down to their final strike. I was about ready to end this half inning, but home plate umpire saying that fastball just missing on the outside corner. Good enough to even this count up at 2-2 against Helsel, the right-hander out of Altoona, Pennsylvania. Gussler, the delivery, fastball hit to the left side of the infield. Shortstop, that's Brett Balkin's replacement. That was Mike Rampone getting the force out at second base to retire Robert Poller. Also reaches on the fielder's choice, but the Beavers put up a 4 spot in this 8th inning and now trail it by just a score of 10-8. We head to the home half. Unicorns have bottom and then the top coming up to the plate. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Rich Borland alongside you. James Ball out for his first full inning of work. He had relieved Chris Falwell back in the 7th inning. Faced off against 3 batters. Gave up 2 singles, but recorded it out all on his own, retiring Chris Allen to end the threat that the Unicorns put up in that 4-run 7th inning. But the Beavers, putting up 4 of their own in the top half of the 8th, have recut this Unicorn lead to just 2. It's 8-10 here. Spencer Ibarra standing in against James Ball, the pitcher here for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. The count 1-1 on the batter, but you can forget about this one. Over the hill and right, a home run there for Spencer Ibarra. That ball was gone the second it made connection with the bat. Unicorns reclaim the 3-run lead. It's 11-8. But holy cow, what a shot off the bat of Mr. Ibarra on the season. That is his, let's double check this here, Spencer Ibarra on the year. As I look at these stats on the season, that is, in fact, the first home run of the year for Spencer Ibarra out of Ohio University. Mentioned how he was the MAC champion with the Ohio Bobcats in 2017. I had the opportunity to interview him before the game out there in front of the gates here at Jimmy John's Field, and I'm sure he's feeling a whole lot better. He was 1 for 3 coming into that one with a single. Also had a strikeout to his credit, but an absolute moonshot right there for the right fielder. Puts the Unicorns back on top 11-8. Mike Rampone now in for the 3rd time here today at the plate. Walked twice, scored twice. See if that trend continues here for the right-hander out of Denville, New Jersey. Rampone looking at a couple of pitches. The count, he has worked it 2-1 in his favor as we speak. Infield, outfield, for the most part, at normal depth. Right fielder Donantre Clark playing a little shallow, but here we go again. Let's see how far Rampone can get. A base hit down the left field line. Into the corner goes Nick Buckner. Rounding second, thinking about third was Mike Rampone, but he'll slowly go back into second. Gets that no-out double after that home run from Spencer Ibarra, and the Unicorns, after giving up the 4 runs in the top of the inning, starting to put a threat together here in the home half. Dylan Sprague now coming up to the plate for the 5th time this afternoon. He's reached base safely twice, had a single in the 4th, was hit by a pitch in the 7th, but hit ground balls over to the first baseman, Gerard Hernandez, twice this afternoon, both being retired on. He has come in to score twice, though, when he reached base. He's worked the 1-0 count here. Fastball on the outer half, missing the zone, making it 2-0 here on Sprague. No outs on the board for the Beavers in this bottom of the 8th inning. The runner on second is Mike Rampone. Had a no-out double just recently, and Sprague has worked himself in the count 3-0 here. We'll see if he gets the green light on this 3-0 pitch like his teammate Nico Lolio had in the 7th inning with bases loaded. But a base open over there at first wouldn't be the worst thing here for the Beavers to put Sprague on, even though Tanner Levine would be coming up to the plate, batting in the 3-hole this afternoon. Once again, green light being given to a Unicorn hitter. He hits this one high and shallow towards the right side of the field of play. Over to make the catch was Rob Pauler at second base. Good enough for out number 1.
Now batting the first baseman, number 22, Tanner Levine.
So Tanner Levine coming up to the plate, trying to avoid his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. Reached on an error back in the 6th inning and popped out to first, back in the 1st. Gerard Hernandez trying to play the in-between hop nonchalantly, cannot come up with the baseball into score. Coming in, crossing home plate is Mike Rampone. Another run coming across the board for the Unicorns here in this 8th inning. They take the 12-8 lead over the Beavers. Not sure if that was marked an error or a base hit. Technically wasn't made contact with Hernandez's glove over there at first, but he probably could have made a better approach to that ball. It'll probably go down in the books as a mental error, but a base hit. Too many hits on the day for either team to worry about that anymore. 12-8 the score here for the Unicorns. Tanner Levine over there on first base. Standing in is Tony Rosselli. Down in the county is, though, 0-1. Ground ball to the right side. Could be two here. Second baseman relaying it to the shortstop, and right like that, a 4-6-3 double play committed by Poller, Kennan, and Hernandez. Just like that, Beavers get out of the jam with that double play. We head to the ninth. Unicorns lead it 12-8 over the Beavers. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Game 70 of 71 here in this USPBL 2017 season. To the ninth we go. Utica Unicorns up 12-8 on the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Lane Gussler's day officially done. He goes 2 innings, throwing 48 pitches, 37 of them 4 strikes. No walks on the day, 1 strikeout. He gave up 5 runs in those 2 frames on 7 hits. Not the greatest of outings for the Unicorn. He gives way now to Sean Gustin out of Stoneham, Massachusetts. Gustin in his 2nd season with the Utica Unicorns. This year, a 1-2 record in 28 relief appearances. He's got a 4.26 ERA and 31.2 innings pitched. He's got 6 saves to his credit, as well as 34 strikeouts, while he has given up 21 walks and 32 hits on the season. He's in here to try and close this one out for the Unicorns. If they end up winning this game, they won't move up from 3rd place, but they will end their regular season on a good note, coming into play today at 25-26. So it's better to finish at 500 than below it. See if they can finish it off here. Sean Gustin, like I mentioned, leading this team with 6 saves on the year. He's been their guy at the back end of the rotation for the most part. Kennan, meanwhile, the only batter to not hit in the 8th inning for the Beavers as a part of that 4-run inning. Looks at called strike 1 to begin the at-bat, but then on the 0-1, a fastball high and inside almost catches Kennan. Instead, the count even at 1-1. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed, an 84-mile-an-hour slider. Good enough for strike number 2. Kennan on the afternoon still looking for his first hit. Popped out a couple of times to the right side of the infield through the first 2 at-bats. Struck out in the 5th inning on a drop 3rd strike, and then grounded out over to the man at third, Bobby Webb, back in the seventh. But would you look at that, right on cue, Dan Kennan with his first knock of the ball game. He sits on the 1-2 pitch, drives it into left. The one hopper out to Nico Lolio. And Dan Kennan is on base here to start off the ninth. So the Beavers, who I mentioned, automatically into the championship game on the 10th of September, 6 days away from now on Sunday. It doesn't matter if they win or lose this game, but would never hurt if you're the Beavers if you could end this game on a high note, possibly get a couple of runs in this inning. Even if you don't win, you obviously want to play as best as you can through every situation. Nick Buckner now standing in here for the Beavers. He is 2 of 4 on the afternoon. A couple of singles in the second and third innings. He lined out to left field to begin the sixth and then grounded out to first base to begin the eighth. He looked at ball one and then fouled off strike one in this plate appearance. It's even at 1-1 on him. Sean Gustin battling against his second batter of this inning. Kennan over there on first. He reached on the 1-2 pitch single out there into left field. Buckner on the season batting .244 in his time with the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. On the year in his 41st game with this team. .33 hits and 147 at-bats coming into play today. 7 runs scored, 17 driven in. But 48 strikeouts for the man out of Pearland, Texas. It's one of the weak spots for Buckner. He's yet to strike out in this game here. And right on cue on the 2-2 pitch, swinging and missing at that one for out number 1 is Buckner. He goes down for the 3rd consecutive time here this afternoon. He'll solemnly walk back to the first base dugout and give way to Gerard Hernandez, who's had a pretty good day at the plate. A home run, a single, a base on balls, 2 runs scored. And oh yeah, that home run back in the second inning, still arguably the best hit of the day. It was hit high and deep. Felt like one of those shots that we saw off the bat of Aaron Judge in the home run derby earlier on this year. It was Aaron Judge show in the first half of the MLB season, but it's been all Giancarlo Stanton the rest of the way. He's got already over 50 home runs for the Miami Marlins. And Gerard Hernandez with his second single of the afternoon, 3rd hit, second single in as many innings. He brings runners to first and second as he hits one into right field. Cito Jr., the batter here, nubs one down the right field first baseline. Initially, it looked like it might have been able to roll back into fair territory as it was spinning as it was traveling down that line, but goes just enough foul. First baseman Tanner Levine picking it up right on cue. Just a foul ball for called strike 1. Here to start off the at-bat for Lucido Jr. Over on second is Dan Kennan. On first is Hernandez. Buckner out with the strikeout for out number 1 in this 9th frame. Lucido Jr. came in for Brett Elmer back in the 7th inning after Elmer had tweaked something in his right quad. Lucido, meanwhile, looking at ball 1, evens the count up at 1-1. 2 on, 1 out here for the Beavers in their final chance to try and come back in this one. They trail it 12-8 behind the Utica Unicorns. Sean Gustin out there for the close, not the save, but trying to shut the door here on the Beavers in the final game of the regular season. Lining this up as of right now, seems as if the winning pitcher in this game, if the score remained the same, it would in fact most likely probably be, I don't know. There's been a lot of pitchers here today. It's one thing we're going to have to figure out as we go here, looking down at some of these guys' lines. It's been a back-and-forth game all afternoon long. The 1-2 pitch to Lucido Jr. The ball just missing the zone, but Lucido Jr. going around enough for Gary Wagenschutz over there in between second and third. He says he had went around. second out of the inning via the strikeout here in this top of the ninth. Last chance for the Beavers going to Thomas Rulis. He'll be standing in for the 5th time here this afternoon. Just 1 of 4. Had an RBI single back in the 8th. Rulis, who leads this league with a batting average of .347, hitting one the opposite way out there down the left field line, actually going into the Utica bullpen. Couple of guys getting out of the way right there. Rulis down in the count here, 0-1. Beavers down to their final out here in this top of the 9th inning. They trail it 12-8. Rulis swinging through the second pitch of the at-bat. He's now down in the count here, 0-2. But if he leaves the yard, it would be a 1-run ball game. But Gustin's done admirably well all season long. Mentioned he's thrown in 28 games here for the Unicorns. He's given up just 32 hits. 0-2 pitch fouled off here once again. Rulis staying alive for at least one more. Final regular season game for both of these teams. Beavers have clinched the 1 seed. The Unicorns in the 3 spot. They will play on Friday. The 0-2 pitch looked good from up here, but home plate umpire cannot pull the trigger. We'll see at least one more pitch here in this one. Hold on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen. One-two pitch lifted into right field. Could be a play at the plate. Ibarra with the throw towards home. One hop. Will he get the tag? Just getting out of the way was Dan Kennan, sliding right past the glove of Chris Allen behind home plate. Just getting underneath that tag right there was Kennan. RBI single for Thomas Rulis continues the day here for the Beavers. Dan Kennan in to score for the first time all day. It is 12-9. Everybody moving up 90 feet outside of Kennan. He comes a whole 180 feet in to score. Don Andre Clark back to the top of this Beaver order we go. Tying run now at the plate, but good news for the Unicorns. Clark with no home runs on the year. Fouls off the first pitch he sees. Down in the count, he is here 0-1. 0-1 pitch, fastball missing outside, evening the count up at 1-1. One pitch, fastball missing outside. Don Andre Clark thinking about chasing after that one, but at the last second he holds up and in fact tries to stop himself by reaching up high in the air with both arms and the bat. Sort of that slow stop that he could finally hold right there. The 2-1 pitch, fastball missing inside. So now the count has rung 3-1. 3 straight balls thrown here by Sean Gustin. Nobody getting loose on either side just yet. We'll see if that changes here shortly. 12-9 game. Unicorns trying to finish this one off in their final regular season game, but Sean Gustin missing the zone right there. Cannot get the job done. Game-winning run now coming up to the plate. Brandon Raw, who had that 3-run home run in the 8th, now standing in for the Beavers with bases loaded. Over at third is Gerard Hernandez, Thomas Rulis at second, Don Andre Clark now over there at first base with that 5-pitch walk. Brandon Raw looking at called strike one to begin this at-bat against Sean Gustin. Brandon Raw mentioned with 9 home runs now on the season, good enough to be tied for the league lead with John Mencken of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Sean Gustin with a big plate battle here. The 0-1 pitch looking good from up here, but home plate umpire saying it had missed either low or inside. So the count now even at 1-1. Raw flew out to center in the first, walked in the second, singled in the fifth, struck out in the seventh, and had that gigantic 3-run homer back in this previous 8th inning. An opportunity here to give the Beavers a lead. 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed. A long swing there from Brandon Raw. He might have been thinking the same thing I had. But just like that, he's down to his final strike. It's 1-2. Infield, outfield, for the most part at normal depth. Outside of the right fielder, Spencer Ibarra, he's playing way back out there in right, about 2 or 3 feet in front of the warning track. Brandon Raw with that home run in the last inning, took it right down that right field line. But on the 1-2 pitch, a swing and a miss from Brandon Raw. The Utica Unicorns winning their final game of the 2017 USPBL regular season. They move to an overall average of 526-26 through 52 games played on the season. They end their 2-game losing streak and head into the playoff picture on a 1-game winning streak. We'll see if they can take that into the playoff picture. Mind you, we have one more regular season game coming up on this Thursday. That will be the Westside Woolly Mammoths playing against the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. First pitch coming from here, at 7:05 p.m. But then after that, on Friday, the Westside Woolly Mammoths will play against the Utica Unicorns, and then the winner of that game will go on to play on Saturday to face off against the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, who are the 2 seed. And then on Sunday, the championship coming up, it'll be the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers against whoever makes it out between those 3 other teams on Sunday. For Rich Borland, my dad up in the booth, my good friend Chance up here now as well, and all of us here at the USPBL, we say thank you for tuning in to the second-to-last regular season game. We'll see you on Thursday when the Diamond Hoppers face off against the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Unicorns win their final game of the regular season by a score of 12-9 over the Beavers. You stay classy, Utica.